Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Sign in. I became a full-time hunter after awakening my talent. Chapter 81. That is to upgrade the aerial machinery to the third generation of the Storm LC. The simple idea is to expand the Storm. After the Storm is expanded, mechanics, or other heroes, can enter the cockpit of the Storm. Of course, this kind of thing has been done before Lin Chen. But the other party did not expand the Storm, but developed another kind of machinery. That kind of machinery is huge, called the Warlord, which is very large and has fierce firepower. But the cost and manufacturing process of the Warlord are very high, so there is no need to consider it for now. In addition, if he makes the Warlord now, there is a risk of being caught and sliced. Under such circumstances, the Warlord naturally cannot be made now. The Storm can't carry people now. But you can let the Storm go up to get the thing you sensed. Lin Chen had modified the Storm before, and now the Storm no longer has a strong load-bearing capacity. Okay, I'll tell you the approximate location. Ling Qingge nodded, and then told Lin Chen the approximate location. After she finished speaking, Lin Chen also sent the LC-1 of the Storm over. He had installed a mechanical arm on the Storm before, so there was no problem in getting things now. As the Storm continued to rise, until it reached the limit of its flight altitude, Lin Chen was a little dumbfounded. This is already the limit of the Storm's flight altitude. Lin Chen originally thought that the Storm did not need to fly very high when it was in combat. So when upgrading and modifying, the LC-1 of the Storm sacrificed its flight altitude. Unexpectedly, the standard machinery was indeed very comprehensive. If it was the original Storm, it would have easily flown up at such a low altitude. Boom. Although it could not continue to rise, the Storm directly launched a missile. Boom. A blast was heard, and a large area of the ruins collapsed. Then a silver metal box covered with a layer of gray appeared from the ruins. The Storm also stretched out its mechanical arm and picked up the silver metal box. What Ling Qingge sensed just now was obviously such a thing. Lin Chen didn't know what this thing was. But this thing seemed to be not simple, he didn't even see it. How to open this thing? Could it be that the Xuanyuan 11 box opening method was used? The so-called Xuanyuan 11 opening method was naturally to make miracles happen with great force. This guy had smashed the magic brick prison with a single blow of the Phoenix hammer. What's inside? When the silver box came to Lin Chen and Ling Qingge, they looked at the silver box with some doubts in their hearts. This kind of silver fairy, the two obviously didn't understand. I don't know, but you can take it apart and see. Is there anything dangerous inside? Lin Chen found out that it was not enough to install a radar on the Storm. It also needed to install a scanner or something like that. With the scanner, he could use the Storm to know what was in the box. There is no danger in this box. But I don't know what is in this box. Ling Qingge said, pressing his palm on it. Then the silver box became transparent. Warning. Wrong palm print. After Ling Qingge stretched out her hand to test, the box actually said that her palm print was wrong. Seeing this, Lin Chen became interested. Immediately, Lin Chen also stretched out his hand to the box. Warning. Wrong palm print. Obviously, Lin Chen's palm print is not suitable for opening this silver box. But Lin Chen doesn't care, since this thing can be opened with palm prints. That means that this silver box is not made of forged iron. In this case, it is not impossible for him to open this box. After thinking about this, Lin Chen began to think about how to open this box. At the same time, try not to damage the things in this box as much as possible. This step is undoubtedly a bit difficult, although Lin Chen has determined that this box is not made of iron. That is to say, there must be a way to open this box, and it is not very difficult. But if you use too much force, it is very likely that this box will be directly damaged, and the things in the box will also be completely damaged. This is definitely not what Lin Chen wants to see, so he didn't do it right away. I think it can be cut open with an electric saw. Ling Qingge touched her chin and said. In her opinion, it should be the safest to cut it open with an electric saw. Okay. But don't worry about it for now. Try it when we return to the base of the God War Department. After Lin Chen finished speaking, he also put the box into the sign in space. Although this thing may not be dangerous, but they don't know this thing, what if it is dangerous? Putting it in a separate small grid in the sign in space is harmless. Even if this silver box explodes directly, it is not a big problem for the sign in space. After putting this silver box away, Lin Chen and Ling Qingge continued to go deeper. The two walked a distance and obtained a large amount of materials and components. This place is indeed very friendly to mechanics. There are a lot of materials here, as well as mechanical components and even modules. They are all available. If there are other mechanical components, it would be even better. Many things can be used directly after they are obtained. However, Lin Chen and Ling Qingge did not use the components and modules in this place directly. Although these things are not damaged and can definitely be used. But they still need to be taken back and studied carefully to see if there are any problems. All signs show that the technological level of the glorious organization seems to have surpassed that of the God War Department. In this case, the things left by the glorious organization should be used with caution even if they are very useful. After Ling Qingge and Lin Chen walked in this place for a long time, a young man appeared not far from them. Be careful, this is not a human, but a monster. To be precise, it is a prisoner. After seeing this guy, Ling Qingge immediately said to Lin Chen. Lin Chen nodded immediately. He naturally saw that although this person looked like a human. However, he was only a human once, but now he has defected to the monster camp. Such a traitorous hero is also called a prisoner. Don't rush to do it. I'm here to invite you. The young man in white clothes in the distance saw Lin Chen and Ling Qingge and spoke immediately. Hey, we won't defect to the monster camp. Ling Qingge sneered, although everyone has their own ambitions. But ambitions cannot be the ambition of becoming a traitor to humanity and an enemy of humanity. Haha, that's hard to say. How much resources and weapons can you have in the God War Department now? In fact, a long time ago, I was the same as you. I am also a warrior in the God War Department. But when you see other traders using better cultivation resources and alchemy potions, use better weapons and equipment to kill your teammates, you will. Before the young man in white finished speaking, Lin Chen raised his hand and fired a gun. After raising his hand and firing a gun, Lin Chen decisively took out the super-powered laser cannon. This guy, once an elite of the God War Department, became a traitor and a monster in the end. This kind of person is not ashamed, but proud of it. It's simply the most ridiculous thing in the world. So Lin Chen was not polite to this guy. Before the other party continued to talk nonsense, Lin Chen's super-powered laser cannon had already been fired. Beside Lin Chen, Ling Qingge also took out the Flame Viper cannon. With the help of Ling Qingge, Lin Chen also started to fight this guy. Unlike all the previous prisoners, this prisoner was extremely flexible. He could easily dodge ordinary means. Electric grenade. Even when Lin Chen and Ling Qingge attacked this guy, the other party suddenly threw an electric grenade. The Flame Viper cannon was affected and was instantly destroyed. As a result, many small robots around were also operating abnormally and eventually exploded. After seeing this scene, Lin Chen immediately understood that he could not use mechanics to fight this guy. Or, it is not that mechanics cannot be used, but it may be better to use other means. At this time, Lin Chen decisively used the skills of the Dark Warrior. A katana soon appeared in his hand. 3-section slash. Swish, swish, swish. After switching weapons, Lin Chen started with 3-section slash and quickly approached this guy. After quickly approaching this person, Lin Chen immediately used the wave breaker. However, the other party easily dodged it with a jump back. Freezing grenade. After dodging Lin Chen's attack, Sisha raised his hand and threw a freezing grenade. His reaction speed was very fast, but Lin Chen's reaction speed was not slow at all. Aerial continuous slash. After Sisha threw the freezing grenade, Lin Chen directly used the aerial continuous slash, jumping in the air and slashing continuously. Swish, 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 sword slash. After landing, Lin Chen was ready to completely block Sisha's position this time. The atmosphere of sword slash is very wide. When he used sword slash, Sisha could hardly dodge it with ordinary body movements. Slash. After charging for a moment, a silver-white sword energy suddenly slashed out from Lin Chen's hand. When this sword energy slashed out, Sisha jumped directly and then performed a jump in the air. Although sword slash is a very wide-range attack method, it is only a flat-range attack. When Xisha leapt, a silver light also slashed out from the direction he was in before. Not long after, Xisha landed. Modify. Predator. When Xisha landed, Ling Qingge, who had been waiting for a long time, directly used the predator. In an instant, the predator flew towards Xisha. Bang bang bang. However, with a burst of gunfire, Ling Qingge's predator was directly destroyed. Dragon Breaking Army Slash. When Xisha destroyed Ling Qingge's predator, Lin Chen's Dragon Breaking Army Slash also rushed from a distance. Lin Chen and Ling Qingge cooperated very well under such circumstances. Xisha was really a little overwhelmed. He was worried about being locked by Ling Qingge's predator just now. So most of his attention was on destroying the predator. Unexpectedly, at this time, Lin Chen directly used the Dragon Breaking Army Slash to stick to his face. Roar! A dragon roared, and even though Xisha was blocking, he was still instantly blown away. Explosive Flame Wave Sword. Ice. Wave Sword. At the moment when Xisha was blown away, Lin Chen added 2 more skills of Asura. During this process, Xisha's health status continued to decrease. However, although Lin Chen's skills had a certain degree of damage to him, it would obviously take some time to completely kill Xisha. At this time, Yuan Shugong and others also appeared at the Tianlu training base. They rushed over from all directions at the fastest speed. This time, their only goal was to catch Xisha. When seeing Yuan Shugong and his group coming, Lin Chen was still very surprised. He didn't expect that such a battle would actually attract Yuan Shugong and his group. But soon, Lin Chen also relaxed a little. Even Yuan Shugong and others came. No matter how powerful Xisha was, he couldn't do anything right. Of course, it is not ruled out that the other party would jump over the wall in desperation and burn everything down. So at this time, we still need to be cautious. However, Lin Chen soon realized that he was overthinking. Because Xisha had no intention of destroying both sides, when Yuan Shugong and his group appeared. A time-space gate opened up beside him, and then Xisha smiled warmly, stepped into the time-space gate and disappeared. After Xisha escaped, Lin Chen was a little surprised. If the other party has such means, then the God War Department is completely defenseless to them. Their people can sneak into the God War Department at any time, and use the time-space gate to leave directly after danger occurs. What kind of technology? Even the God War Department does not have it. Are they still running away? Yuan Shugong and his men came over and looked at the residual space fluctuations in the distance, not surprised. Captain Yuan Shugong, don't we have the means to contain them? In this case, the God War Department is like the back garden of these guys. They can come to the God War Department whenever they want. When they want to leave, they can leave at any time. Lin Chen did not complain, but just wanted to know more information, so that he could deal with Xisha better next time. It's not that easy. This kind of space transmission device needs to be arranged in advance. Every time it is used, a lot of energy is consumed. To be precise, each use consumes the energy of 100,000 gold coins. The stronger the target is, the more energy is consumed. Therefore, the other party will not use this kind of space transmission device casually. The other party came to contact you this time, it should be because your performance in this period of time is too outstanding. So that the Eternal Night Organization wants to recruit you to join the Eternal Night Organization. Yuan Shugong did not let Lin Chen down and told Lin Chen the name of the Eternal Night Organization. After hearing the name of the Evernight Organization, Lin Chen was slightly stunned. Because he was completely confused about the Evernight Organization and the Glorious Organization. At this time, he really needed Chu Junyang, an emotionless intelligence machine, to explain. And at this time, Chu Junyang really came over. When seeing Yuan Shugong and others coming over, Chu Junyang and others thought something had happened here. When they came over and found that everything was normal, they were also relieved. When hearing Yuan Shugong talking about the Evernight Organization, Chu Junyang's face suddenly showed a look of surprise. Brother Chu, what is the Evernight Organization? Lin Chen asked with some curiosity. Looking at Chu Junyang's appearance, it is likely that he knows about the Evernight Organization. The Eternal Night Organization is a very powerful prisoner organization. Most members of the Eternal Night organization have been on the Hidden Dragon list of the God War Department at least once. Some have even been on the Hidden Dragon list of the God War Department many times. Chu Junyong didn't know much about the intelligence of the Eternal Night organization. But he still knew some things that were already public or semi-public. After Chu Junyong said this, Lin Chen knew why Sisha was so powerful before. It turned out that everyone in this Eternal Night organization was elite. It is unknown how many elites the God War Department has. Only the top 100 elites in the God War Department can enter the Hidden Dragon list. And the Hidden Dragon list is updated every month, and the ranking is determined by the battle points obtained by everyone in the previous month. It can be said that those who can enter the Hidden Dragon list are definitely masters. Brother Chu, do you know Sisha? Lin Chen quickly asked about Sisha's situation directly. I know a little. Sisha is also one of the geniuses on the Hidden Dragon list. He has been on the Hidden Dragon list 5 times and is a very powerful prisoner. Chu Junyong nodded, and at the same time he was extremely surprised. Since Lin Chen asked about Sisha, then it must be the guy who just fought with Lin Chen in this place. It was not someone else, but Sisha. After thinking of this, Chu Junyong was shocked. Sisha is a ruthless man who has been on the Hidden Dragon list 5 times in a row. Such a guy is definitely not easy to deal with, but Lin Chen and Sisha fought a big battle. It seems that Lin Chen has no injuries at all. How did Sisha become a prisoner? At this moment, Lin Chen asked with some curiosity. Since Sisha is so amazing, then there is no reason for the other party to become a prisoner. Most prisoners are not incompetent, have high expectations but low skills, and eventually go astray. Sisha, a rare nobleman, wouldn't go that far, right? Another point is that Sisha's strength doesn't seem to be at the level of being on the Hidden Dragon list for 5 consecutive times. Sisha's previous combat power was only slightly better than Xuanyuan 11's. However, Xuanyuan 11 has never been on the Hidden Dragon list. Sisha is said to have killed 4 team members in an operation. Since then, he has been wanted by the God War Department. But there are also very strong team members among his team members. Although they were killed by Sisha, Sisha was also seriously injured and has not recovered yet. After Chu Junyong said this, Lin Chen naturally understood. With Sisha, who was still injured, he just fought 1 against 2, and he and Ling Qingge fought back and forth. If Sisha was in his prime, they might not be able to deal with Sisha. Thinking of this, Lin Chen suddenly felt that it was necessary to increase the skills of the summoner's first awakening. It's fine at other times, but when you meet a guy of Sisha's level, it's obviously very dangerous if you don't summon Cassius. Even if you don't prepare Cassius as a trump card, you need to prepare some other powerful trump cards. Of course, if you are confident enough, you can also add some Gaibojia's fist. See if you can beat the opponent to death with 1 punch. Okay, let's continue the trial. Next time there are prisoners from the Evernight organization, find a way to hold them back. But be very careful to prevent the opponent from jumping off the wall. As long as you find a way to hold the opponent back, the reward will be very generous if you catch any member of the Evernight organization. After Yuan Shugong finished speaking these words, he left the place quickly. After he left, Lin Chen and others naturally continued to train. However, the appearance of the brave man of the Evernight organization this time still made Lin Chen feel a sense of urgency. His current trump card does not have the effect of finalizing the outcome. Like the magician's scarecrow, it can save lives at critical moments, and the magician's teleportation is the same. However, these 2 methods are used to save lives and escape. The trump card he wants is a serious deterrent to the enemy. Now it seems that the best choice is the Summoner's Awakening Cassius and the Female Mechanic's Awakening Warlord. Or the Female Melee Mage's Awakening, transforming into Bayana Fighting God. Apart from this, there seems to be no better choice. Some other awakening skills are powerful, but there are many limitations. There are indeed not many means that can be flexible and continuous. While Lin Chen was thinking, Ling Qingge also came to his side. Are you not injured? After learning that the person who had just fought with Lin Chen was actually a ruthless person who had been on the Hidden Dragon list 5 times. Ling Qingge couldn't help but worry about Lin Chen. Haha, it's okay. Lin Chen's heart warmed and he chuckled. He was in a daze just now, not because he was scared by Si Sha. But he was thinking in his heart, the next time a guy like Si Sha appeared. How to deal with these guys, with his remaining skill points now. In fact, he can choose 5 awakening skills at all costs. However, Lin Chen is not going to do this. If that happens, it will be a bit troublesome if he needs to use other skills. Although it is not possible to add 5 awakening skills at once, it is no problem to choose 1 or even 2 awakening skills. After thinking about it, Lin Chen decided. Choose 2, wait until the training camp is over, or at the right time. Then he will activate the first awakening of the summoner, Cassius. The second skill is the awakening skill of the Sword Soul, which is the Sword Saint's extreme ghost swordsmanship, storm style. The reason why he did not choose the Warlord, but chose the extreme ghost swordsmanship, mainly because the extreme ghost swordsmanship, storm style is very handsome. Just think about it, when, at the critical moment, standing up beside Ling Qingge and performing the extreme ghost swordsmanship, storm style, it is a little exciting. Just like just now, if he performed the extreme ghost swordsmanship, storm style, then Si Sha would be directly frozen by the sword formation and could not get away at all. Of course, the consequence of doing so might be that Yuan Shugong would come and take him away to slice him up for research. After the incident involving prisoner Si Sha, the training camp for Lin Chen and everyone is still continuing. Although Lin Chen has entered the land of divine warfare and fought before. However, what Lin Chen entered could only be called a training ground. The land of divine warfare consists of training bases, trial grounds, secondary battlefields, and main battlefield divisions. The main battlefield and secondary battlefield are the real battlefields. The land of God's battle that Lin Chen went to last time was just a trial ground slightly higher than the training base. In the trial field, the level of danger is about 5 times lower than in the secondary battlefield. However, most areas of the land of gods are main battlefields and secondary battlefields. These 2 types of areas account for about 80%. Therefore, Lin Chen and others need to quickly complete the training at the training base and then complete the trial at the trial ground. You can enter the secondary battlefield or even the main battlefield to start fighting. Generally speaking, there are 1 to 3 training sessions at the training base. For example, Lin Chen is now number 1 in the standings, so he may not need to participate in training camps in the future. After this training session, Lin Chen can follow some other elites and directly enter the trial field. Let's continue searching this place for useful things. But you have to be careful. Some monsters may come out of this place at any time. Lin Chen led everyone and continued to explore this place, and then he also spoke to everyone. Clear. After Lin Chen finished speaking, everyone nodded. In fact, they had already encountered some monsters when they were exploring this area just now. It's just that the monsters here seem to be relatively weak. Therefore, the monsters that appeared here were easily eliminated by everyone. We can actually go deeper, what do you think? After walking a certain distance, Ling Qingge said to Lin Chen, Chu Junyang and others. Agree. Lin Chen nodded. He also felt that they could let go and explore in depth. Anyway, now, some powerful figures of the Holy Knights have vaguely appeared around. This is a training base, not a real place for divine warfare. As long as they don't enter the map copy, when they encounter danger, the strong men of the Holy Knights will have time to rescue them. Of course, they themselves cannot be too weak. Otherwise, they would have been killed before the strong men of the Holy Knights came to rescue them. I agree too. After Ling Qingge finished speaking, Sha Qingwen on the side also nodded. The relationship between their 3-person team is already very good. At this time, of course, I support my teammates' suggestions. Agree. Chu Junyang and others also spoke one after another. Although there were still a few elites, they did not agree in the end. But the minority obeys the majority, since the vast majority of people have already agreed. Then they can just move forward. Those elites who don't agree, though disagree. But after most people agree, they will also take action with all their strength. Be careful, there are more monsters around. They are all mechanical monsters. Ling Qingge kept paying attention to her surroundings after they walked a certain distance. Her perceptual physique has already sensed the surrounding situation. For living things, there are also objects that contain energy, and objects that move. Her sensory abilities are very useful. But for those objects that do not contain energy, do not have the breath of life, and do not move, her perceptual physique cannot accurately perceive those things. Good. There is a group of mechanical spiders approaching over there. Let's test it out. Lin Chen also saw at this moment that a group of mechanical spiders were approaching not far from them. Can we repurpose these things? When he saw these mechanical spiders, Chu Junyang said. No, difficult. All their modules and behaviors are programmed to death. Unless they can be transformed as a whole. Otherwise, small changes will have no effect. With minor changes, these mechanical spiders will repair themselves. Ling Qingge obviously knew more about these mechanical spiders than Chu Junyang and Lin Chen. After she said this, Lin Chen also understood. In other words, these mechanical spiders are a complete whole. Instead of changing them, it is better to reuse the materials and make one. It is easier to recreate the same mechanical spider than to modify a mechanical spider. Then kill them all. After Lin Chen finished speaking, he jumped up. Electric grenade. This skill, which Xia had used before, was the skill of an ammunition expert. However, this skill is not only used by Xia, Lin Chen can also use it. When Lin Chen used the electromagnetic grenade, everyone around him looked at him with confusion. But soon, everyone was relieved. Lin Chen seems to be proficient in the basic skills of most professions before awakening. Although Lin Chen also has a talent profession, his talent profession is obviously different from other talent professions. Lin Chen's existence even redefined the talent profession. In fact, in Lin Chen's view, full-time hunter is actually a natural profession after changing jobs. It's just that others cannot become full-time hunters and can only improve on the basis of their natural professions. Boom, boom, boom. The electromagnetic grenade is a great weapon against these mechanical spiders. Under the electromagnetic field of the electromagnetic grenade, these mechanical spiders were all ineffective. After 3 or 5 electromagnetic grenades passed by, all the mechanical spiders exploded. Let me strangle you. The restraint effect is so obvious. Seeing such a scene, a fat man named Tang Lei in the team said in surprise. This little fat man named Tang Lei had the same initial profession as Xuanyuan 11, they were both priests. However, Tang Lei's profession is not the Holy Knight, but the Blue Fist Holy Envoy. This profession looks very similar to the Paladin, but it does not belong to the Paladin order. So, we can go a little deeper. Lin Chen was also a little surprised when Xia used an electromagnetic grenade to deal with his machine. In his heart, he wanted to try the effect of electromagnetic grenade in this place. After testing it now, the effect is simply explosive. Huh, what's that silver chip? At this moment, Sha Qingwen's eyes suddenly lit up, she looked not far away and said. That place was where many mechanical spiders exploded. After Lin Chen killed many mechanical spiders, this silver chip also appeared there. Let me see. After confirming that there was no danger around, Lin Chen also picked up the silver chip. Ordinary quality, the lowest level glory chip. It is a technological product left behind by the glorious organization. This kind of glorious chip can be used in our technological products. Lin Chen looked at it for a while and then said to everyone. Hearing what Lin Chen said, everyone nodded. So, there should be high quality, rare quality, or even artifact quality glory chips. Chu Junyang touched his chin and said with some uncertainty. There should be, but it's better for us not to have any contact for the time being. Lin Chen agreed with Chu Junyang's view. After putting away these low-level glory chips of ordinary quality, the group continued to move forward. However, they did not go deep, but explored horizontally within this area. Search from the west to the east, and then focus on the central area to start the search. The process was difficult, and several people were already exhausted. There's another mechanical spider coming over there. Ling Qingge quickly reminded them that with her in the team, everyone would obviously be much safer. Let me try this time. Before Lin Chen could take action, Tang Lei rushed out first. Bang, bang, bang. Tang Lei's attack methods were not as gorgeous and cool as Lin Chen's. His attack methods are even so monotonous that it makes people feel distressed. However, this is not due to the Blue Fist Holy Envoy's single skill, but to Tang Lei. Obviously he believes in the truth of practicing the same moves 10,000 times. But even so, everyone still understands that if you don't have enough talent, practicing 10,000 times will be in vain. So at this time, everyone saw that Tang Lei was always punching and punching monotonously. Other than that, he doesn't seem to need any other skills. Tang Lei now seems to be concentrating on fighting. Actually, these mechanical spiders are not challenging at all. So he was also listening to the conversation of the guys behind him. Hearing others say that his attack method was single, Tang Lei suddenly felt unhappy. As a summoner, Sha Qingwen can only summon small fire dragons. So everyone calls her Dragon Mother. He, Tang Lei, has practiced the same boxing technique 10,000 times, so why should he be called the King of Fighters? Of course, this is obviously just Tang Lei's wishful thinking. Because at this time, everyone was still discussing the issue of his single attack method. Well, Tang Lei was a little helpless after hearing the comments from many teammates. Perhaps, masters are just not understood by others. I'm going. When Tang Lei was thinking this, he didn't expect it. A mechanical spider, like an octopus, jumped directly towards his face. All this happened so fast that Tang Lei had no time to react. Floating bomb. Fortunately, Tang Lei didn't react, but Lin Chen directly raised his hand and shot. Bang! Gunshots rang out, and Lin Chen killed this mechanical spider with one shot. After Lin Chen killed the mechanical spider, Tang Lei breathed a long sigh of relief. He didn't expect that these mechanical spiders would have this kind of attack mode. At first, he was still thinking about staying the same and adapting to the ever-changing situation. He never thought that these mechanical spiders would not give him a chance to cope with the changes. Alright, just be careful. These machines have little intelligence. But the people who designed these machines are smart guys. Lin Chen put away the automatic pistol and said casually. Tang Lei on the side looked at Lin Chen very gratefully. If this thing explodes in his face, it means his health status has been reduced. It's possible he'll see his own brains with his own eyes. The next step is to act as a team of 3. We are divided into 4 3-person teams. The 3 people cover each other, and the 4 teams cover each other. This makes it easier to deal with emergencies. Chu Junyang spoke decisively and made adjustments. The situation just now was actually very dangerous. If Lin Chen hadn't reacted quickly and struck very neatly, Tang Lei would have been in trouble. After Chu Junyang finished speaking, everyone around him naturally nodded in agreement. After being divided into teams of 3, everyone became serious. While one teammate is participating in a battle, the other 2 are absolutely focused. The 12 people were acting together just now, and everyone thought that others might be paying attention to the battle, so they didn't need to be so nervous. As a result, just now, Lin Chen took action decisively. Bang! After walking a certain distance, Lin Chen fired again. He was attacking a broken metal door. There was nothing unusual about this place. The reason why he attacked this broken metal door was to some extent because he was free. Although the reason was very speechless, he shot down and shattered the broken metal door. Everyone was immediately surprised to find that there was a copy of the map in this place. Oh my god, Lin Chen, you are too awesome. You can spot all this. We didn't notice it at all. After seeing the light door entering the map copy, everyone looked at Lin Chen with great admiration. Haha, just good luck for a while. Lin Chen smiled slightly awkwardly. Just now, he just had free hands and fired casually. I never thought that there was actually a copy map hidden behind the broken door. Whispering sound. Who would believe it? You say that every time. After Lin Chen said he was lucky, everyone refused to believe it. Because Lin Chen always said he was lucky. However, how can luck be good every time? But everyone didn't know that Lin Chen had accomplished some things before with his strength. But this time, Lin Chen was really lucky. In the combat meeting room, Yuan Shugong and others' attention had to be cast on the area where Lin Chen was again. Yuan Shugong and the Black Wolf special training instructor and others didn't know. This was the nth time they paid attention to Lin Chen and others. But there was no way, the elites of other teams performed well. There were also some elites whose performance in the training base was even unsatisfactory. If it were earlier, Yuan Shugong would have asked them to go back and retrain and re-enter the God War department. Strange. We have explored this area hundreds of times. The surrounding environment has changed more than 10 or 20 times. Why didn't we think that there was a map copy behind this broken metal door? When Yuan Shugong asked this question, everyone looked at each other. Because they were as confused as Yuan Shugong. While Yuan Shugong and others were discussing in the combat meeting room, Lin Chen and his party were also facing a choice. The danger of this place has increased a lot. The dungeon map found by chance in such a place will definitely be more dangerous. In such a situation, everyone naturally has a difficult decision. Should we go in? Tang Lei looked at Lin Chen and Chu Junyang with some uncertainty, and said with some doubt. Of course. After Tang Lei spoke, Lin Chen nodded decisively. The reason why he nodded so decisively was mainly because he felt it was necessary to go in and take a look now. This kind of dungeon map that has never been discovered before is more worth exploring. In it, there may be things that the Research Institute of the God War Department has not mastered. We'd better get in quickly. Otherwise, the paladins will be here soon. Ling Qingge smiled bitterly, and after she said that, everyone suddenly realized. Yes, if they don't enter this map copy now, the paladins may come to take over soon. It will be impossible for them to get any benefit from it at that time. Only now that they have the upper hand can they benefit from it. At that moment, everyone naturally had no hesitation, they got something in the map copy. Even if it is best to hand it in, it is an equal exchange. Sometimes, they can even get more from the paladins. But if they are still hesitating at this time, when the masters of the paladins come, they will at most get some rewards for discovering the map copy. After everyone entered the map copy, they found that this was actually a silver-white alloy scientific research base. Here, there is a very clear totem of the glorious organization. It is a pity that all the information cabinets and other things in this place have been emptied. Only on the ground, some scraps of paper can be seen occasionally. Seeing these scraps of paper, Lin Chen decisively scanned and saved the contents. At the same time, he also heard the voices of Yuan Shugong and Ling Tianan in his earphones. Strange, what these two people said was so obscure. Could it be some secret? After the two spoke, Yuan Shugong took the initiative to let Ling Tianan speak first. Ling Tianan did not hesitate and spoke immediately. Lin Chen, you can scan and save a copy of these documents. But the originals still need to be handed over to the Research Institute. Of course, the Research Institute will also provide you with corresponding rewards. After Ling Tianan finished speaking, Yuan Shugong also spoke. This research base is very complete, try not to destroy it. The other old Ling has already said, you should pay attention to safety. After the voice fell, Yuan Shugong and his group, as well as Douglas and others from the Paladin, also set off again. Yuan Shugong and Douglas both smiled bitterly. Originally thought, Lin Chen and his group at most found an ordinary copy. Who would have thought that what Lin Chen and his team discovered was actually a research laboratory of the glorious organization? Most of the other research laboratories of this type were blown up by the researchers of the glorious organization. This research laboratory was relatively well preserved. Except for all the materials that were taken away, most of the other items were intact. Let's act separately. There are only a few monsters here. Ling Qingge sensed for a while, and then said to Chu Junyang and others. Okay, everyone now knows that the Paladin Order will soon take over this place. In this case, everyone naturally has to take the lead and explore as much as possible here. After Lin Chen and the other two chose a light gate, they immediately. Chu Junyang, Tang Lei and others did the same. When he came to the second room, Lin Chen saw some steel mechanical soldiers. These steel mechanical soldiers are much more flexible than those puppets. They even have very high intelligence. When Lin Chen and his friends appeared in this place, these steel mechanical soldiers immediately entered the attack mode. Bang, bang, bang. However, after Lin Chen fired 3 shots, all these steel mechanical soldiers were knocked down by him. Because the name of these steel mechanical soldiers is Unfinished Steel Warriors. Obviously, these guys have not been completely developed, but are just a bunch of semi-finished products. Although it is just a bunch of semi-finished products, the functional modules they have completed have performed very well. Because this place is too important, Lin Chen and others did not kill all the way to the Lord Boss. When Lin Chen and the other two entered the fourth room, there was already a masked paladin waiting for them there. Silver-faced paladin. A higher level existence than ordinary paladins. They are usually responsible for handling some higher difficulty, higher confidentiality, and more important work. Under such circumstances, these silver-faced paladins are usually hard to see. You can't enter the area behind for the time being. Under the cold mask, a very gentle voice came out. When Lin Chen heard this voice, he felt like bathing in the spring breeze. This silver-faced paladin is not a man, but a woman. Sure, but can we meet the elder sister? Lin Chen looked at the silver-faced paladin with some curiosity. He didn't actually want to meet him, he just wanted to see this female paladin sister. Sure. After Elizabeth finished speaking, she took off the silver mask. Then Lin Chen and the other two saw a beautiful face. Elizabeth had blonde hair and blue eyes, with a pair of sapphire eyes. She had a faint smile on her face, and when she saw her, she gave people a very peaceful feeling. However, Lin Chen's waist was obviously pinched. Because this guy kept staring at Elizabeth, Ling Qingge was a little jealous. In fact, Miss Ling Qingge was more beautiful than Elizabeth, and her figure was more explosive. Lin Chen had hugged Ling Qingge before, and he was very clear about this. It's not that she's fickle at this moment, she's just a little curious. My name is Elizabeth. I know the three of you. Lin Chen, Ling Qingge, and Xia Qingwen. After Elizabeth introduced herself, she immediately said the names of Lin Chen and the other two. However, she quickly continued to speak. After a while, I may teach you. I'm an assistant teacher now, but I'm about to become a formal teacher. Elizabeth's beautiful face still had a sweet smile. After hearing what Elizabeth said, Lin Chen was stunned. Originally, in Lin Chen's opinion, Elizabeth must be their senior. Because Elizabeth looked like she was only 1 or 2 years older than him. Who would have thought that she was already an assistant teacher, and was about to become a formal teacher? Generally speaking, the strength level is from LV 15 to strength level IV 20, which is the first semester of the first year of the God War department. And so on, until the strength rating LV 45, it is possible to become an assistant teacher. After reaching level 50, one can become a formal instructor. The instructors of the God War department are divided into 5 categories. Special expert instructor, formal instructor, assistant instructor, and special training instructor. Like the black wolf they had seen before, he was a special training instructor and the lowest level instructor. Elizabeth in front of him was about the same age as Lin Chen and the others. She could become an assistant instructor, and even a formal instructor soon. It can be seen that Elizabeth's talent is amazing and her strength is strong. However, after thinking that Elizabeth might come to teach them soon, Lin Chen became excited again. In this way, it would be good to have one more beautiful instructor. The harem is so big that it can accommodate beautiful tutors. Ahem. When Lin Chen was thinking about it, he found that Elizabeth was looking at him with a smile. Ling Qingge, your classmate, is a sensory physique. But have you ever heard that there is a physique called telepathic physique? When Elizabeth said this, Lin Chen's face changed decisively. Is there such a thing? Telepathic physique. Hee. Don't worry, sister is not a telepathic physique. Elizabeth said lazily, and her voice was naturally as pleasant as always. After Elizabeth's voice fell, Lin Chen smiled bitterly. He didn't believe that Elizabeth was not a telepathic physique anyway. Only people with telepathic physique can read the other person's inner thoughts, and people with other physiques can't do this at all. In Lin Chen's opinion, Elizabeth must be a telepathic physique. Just to avoid embarrassment in the future, Elizabeth reminded Lin Chen in advance. Another point is that Elizabeth said that she was not telepathic. The main reason must be to resolve the embarrassment just now. After all, Lin Chen was thinking about the harem just now. Sister Elizabeth, why are we not allowed to enter the area behind? Lin Chen decisively changed the topic at this time. After Lin Chen asked, Ling Qingge and Xia Qingwen beside him also listened carefully. Originally, it was prepared for you to explore. But Lord Brandy of the Paladin used space teleportation to teleport directly to the 8th room. As a result, Lord Brandy was teleported back instantly and is still being rescued. That's why our silver-faced paladin was dispatched urgently. When Elizabeth said this lightly, Lin Chen and others were dumbfounded. The 8th room is a room outside the Lord's room. There are all kinds of facilities inside, even the most convenient living facilities. Brandy is one of the second in command of the Paladin, second only to Douglas. As far as Lin Chen knows, this Brandy seems to be an IV-50, a one-time awakening warrior. As a result, Brandy almost died when she entered the 8th room. Thinking of this, Lin Chen and his companions were also scared. Brandy is also a strong man who has mastered the talent of space. If he sees that things are not going well, he can teleport away instantly. If they enter the 8th room, they will probably die without leaving any residue. Sister Elizabeth, is the Mechanical City ruins so dangerous? Lin Chen quickly thought, are other places in the Mechanical City ruins also so dangerous? If the Mechanical City ruins are so dangerous, are they not going to explore further? No, this is the first time we have encountered a situation like this. But next, there should be continuous actions against the Mechanical City. This is all thanks to you. Our exploration of the Mechanical City has been stagnant for more than 10 years and there has been no new progress. By the way, how did you find this place? It's not just luck, right? While Elizabeth and Lin Chen were talking, Yuan Shugong and the others were also listening with the communicator. Douglas and his party, as well as other silver-faced paladins, Ling Tianan, and the top leaders of the God War Department. They all wanted to know if Lin Chen also had some special physique that could discover these hidden things. During this training camp, Lin Chen has shown this unscientific method more than once. Ahem. Quote, I said there is. Lin Chen was halfway through his words when he saw Miss Ling Qingge's murderous eyes. He originally wanted to say, what's the benefit of saying it? Unexpectedly, at this time, Miss Ling Qingge suddenly made him sober with a look. However, although Lin Chen did not say it, but in his mind, he heard Elizabeth's voice. I said there is a reward. Maybe it's the reward you want. This is only once, so you have to say it well. After Elizabeth finished speaking, she looked at Lin Chen with a smile. When Lin Chen heard it, he was immediately refreshed. Then, he said without thinking, this should actually be a special ability of mine. It may also be some special passive skill in my talent profession. At some critical moments, I will have a very special feeling. It's like a stroke of genius, raising my hand and shooting the broken metal door at the beginning. Of course, there have been similar things at other times. Quote, Lin Chen was just talking nonsense this time. However, after he said this, all parties who were paying close attention to this conversation nodded seriously. Although this explanation is a bit vague. But this explanation is obviously more convincing than the luck that Lin Chen mentioned before. Therefore, everyone also agreed with this statement, that is, Lin Chen must have some ability that even Lin Chen himself is not very clear about. This ability can be named key point ability. That is, at the crucial key point, Lin Chen will have a flash of inspiration. Although this kind of flash of inspiration cannot be controlled, it will always be passively triggered at a critical moment. Of course, this is the result of everyone's analysis based on the existing intelligence. In this case, Lin Chen's ability is obviously very important. Elizabeth also received instructions from her superiors at this time. That is to escort Ling Qingge and Sha Qingwen out safely, and then take Lin Chen to complete the next exploration mission. After thinking that Lin Chen was about to be alone with Elizabeth, Ling Qingge suddenly became jealous. On the surface, there was still a layer of window paper between her and Lin Chen that had not been broken. But in fact, they both wore the same couple pendant, what else needed to be said? However, thinking that even Lord Brandy almost died, Ling Qingge suddenly became a little worried about Lin Chen, and immediately handed a blue crystal to Lin Chen. At this moment, there were some ancient and mysterious runes on the blue crystal. This is a primary protection crystal. It can protect you from the full force attack of the IV-35 monster. You must come out alive. After Ling Qingge finished speaking, she was about to step aside. However, she was hugged by Lin Chen. At the same time, Lin Chen also put an inheritance automatic pistol on Ling Qingge's hand. This is the IV-20 weapon he got by signing in. Now they are still a little reluctant to use this weapon. However, Lin Chen believes that it will not be long before Ling Qingge will definitely reach IV-20. After getting the inheritance pistol given by Lin Chen, Ling Qingge looked at Lin Chen with surprise. She really didn't expect that Lin Chen, this guy, actually had an IV-20 inheritance automatic pistol. Before Ling Qingge could continue to be surprised, at this time, Lin Chen had been led into the map copy by Elizabeth. Brother Lin Chen, what reward do you want? After entering the map copy, Elizabeth immediately spoke. Just now, she and Lin Chen agreed that as long as Lin Chen told the truth, she could give Lin Chen a reward. I want my mentor's communicator friend. Lin Chen thought for a moment, but still didn't make any excessive demands. After all, the man next to me is a level IV-50, awakened boss. If the joke went too far and Elizabeth gave him a severe beating, he would have nowhere to complain. Okay, however, I can give you an extra reward. After Elizabeth finished speaking, she hugged Lin Chen. Her refreshing fragrance made Lin Chen feel a little dizzy and in high spirits. Of course, it would be even better if Elizabeth wasn't wearing silver knight armor. Soon, Lin Chen also added Elizabeth as a communicator friend. In this way, the two of them can send messages at any time. Under normal circumstances, if the distance is too far, the communicator cannot communicate with other people. However, once you have friends, you can use the communicator wherever there is a communication network. After Lin Chen added Elizabeth as a friend, Elizabeth also took him into the 5th room. After arriving here, Lin Chen was slightly surprised. Because there are actually many injured members of the Holy Knights in this place. Starting from the 5th room, this map copy seems to be different. Lin Chen and his party had not encountered any particularly powerful monsters in the previous rooms. Ling Qingge even used her sensory physique to sense her surroundings. As a result, Ling Qingge didn't notice any particularly powerful monsters around. That means it is safe within a certain range. But once you leave that range, it becomes dangerous. Only under such circumstances would the silver-faced paladins intervene. It is also possible that there is a danger of some blind spots in perceptual constitution. Ling Qingge had told him before that energy fluctuated for some without life breath. Or there is no moving object. When the perceptual physique is perceiving, it is not easy to detect that they are in danger. Like his super laser cannon, when it doesn't start charging. Judging from Ling Qingge's physical sense, it might be a non-dangerous thing. But in fact, super laser cannons are definitely very dangerous. If Lin Chen is strong enough or has enough energy sources, the super laser cannon can take effect instantly. Thinking of this, Lin Chen immediately spoke. Next, be careful of weapons like super laser cannons. When Lin Chen said this, many powerful men from the Holy Knights around him looked curious. There were also some strong men who disagreed, and some members of the Holy Knights even looked sarcastic. What's there to be afraid of with the super laser cannon? We had already dodged it while it was charging. If there is a super laser cannon that is fully charged, then Luo Chang has already sensed it. I don't know why, but you don't even have an IV-20 strength rating. You will be allowed to follow us. But, when Sha Dao said this, he changed the subject. But, I hate it when weak people tell us what to do. Especially the weak ones who don't even have level IV-20. When Sha Dao said this, Luo Chang also chuckled and said, everyone really needs to be careful. But I'm sure. Even if there are laser weapons inside, there are no fully charged laser weapons. If there is, even if it is only partially charged, I can clearly feel it. I can say without any humility that among the second-year students of the Divine War Department, no one has a stronger perceptual physique than me. After Luo Chang said this, he was a little dissatisfied with Lin Chen. Because it is the consensus of all of them to enter this place to explore. He had repeatedly sensed just now that there was no danger in this place. I never thought that Lin Chen would ask them to be careful about the laser weapons here. It was a joke. Better be careful, Lin Chenta. Seeing that Luo Chang and Sha Dao were not polite to Lin Chen, Elizabeth also took the initiative to speak. Elizabeth, just take care of yourself. We, the members of the Holy Knights, have no turn to teach you, the silver-faced Holy Knights, a lesson. A one-eyed paladin walked in at this time. This man seemed to have a very high status. Many paladins, including Elizabeth, saluted him when they saw him. Lin Chen also used his communicator to find out the identity of this person. Deng Tong, the third in command of the Holy Knights, is also the first person in charge of this operation. After Deng Tong spoke, Elizabeth could only give Lin Chen an apologetic look. It's not that she doesn't speak for Lin Chen, but the relationship between the Holy Knights and the silver-faced Holy Knights is very delicate. The Holy Knights never think that the silver-faced Holy Knights can solve problems that they cannot solve. After Deng Tong came, everyone entered the next room. The room where everyone was just now was the fifth room. This room is the sixth room. Although some very powerful monsters appeared here, after Deng Tong took action. Many monsters in this place were quickly killed by Deng Tong. After Deng Tong killed these monsters, he looked at Luo Chang. The meaning was very clear, that is, to let Luo Chang sense whether there was any danger behind. Luo Chang nodded, and looked at Lin Chen with a little sarcasm. What kind of laser cannon is this place? If there is a laser cannon here. Ah, when Luo Chang was about to release his perception and sense some of the surroundings. In the 24 corners in the distance, 24 super-powered laser cannons that were instantly charged suddenly appeared. 24 super-powered laser cannons fired together. How terrifying is the power! Lin Chen only felt that his eyes went black, and the next thing he came to was a huge dark space. In this dark world, he saw many small grids arranged in the distance. In each small grid, there were many items he signed in to get. There are all kinds of materials, weapons and equipment, as well as many gift packs and treasure chests that have not been opened yet. Seeing these things, Lin Chen knew where he appeared. Obviously, he is now in the sign in space. Sign in space, can you still come in for refuge? Then can I bring other people in? While Lin Chen was thinking about this, a system prompt appeared in his mind. Sacred space. Capacity 1/2 people. Seeing this, Lin Chen immediately understood that he could bring one more person in. Of course, there is no need to say anything, and he sighed and rescued Elizabeth who had fainted. As for the other guys, he really couldn't help. It hurts so badly. When Lin Chen brought Elizabeth from the sixth room to the sacred space, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. At this time, he probably knew. Why was Brandy, the second in command of the Holy Knights, almost killed instantly? The dangers of this place are definitely no joke. If he doesn't solve it or leaves here, he's afraid that he won't be able to bear the problems later on. Everyone will be in danger and have safety hazards. What now? Lin Chen discovered that his sacred space was floating in the sixth room like a speck of light. Numerous laser beams attacked the sacred space, but the sacred space, which was like a speck of dust, showed no reaction at all. I'm afraid this is the legendary mustard seed Na Sumeru, right? Lin Chen said a little in amazement in his heart. But he is also a little distressed now, because Elizabeth is too seriously injured. Now Elizabeth's heartbeat has almost stopped. Not only that, although he and Elizabeth are now hiding in the sacred space. But this place doesn't seem to be able to help Elizabeth heal. He didn't know how to leave the sixth room. Now, it seems that they have no way to leave from the sixth room. Sha Dao and Luo Chang, who had ridiculed him before, now died very ugly. Sha Dao's abdomen had a huge bloody hole as big as the bottom of a pot. Just at that moment, a laser beam passed directly through his middle with perfect accuracy. This laser beam hit Sha Dao almost perfectly according to the golden ratio. Sha Dao's face was filled with an unprecedented look of fear. But Lin Chen knew that Sha Dao was definitely not in pain. Not even an ounce of pain. Because this laser beam, just for a moment of breathing, burned his heart and many other internal organs. Everything turned into powder, so Sha Dao couldn't feel any pain at all, and his brain stopped thinking. Luo Chang's death method was not much better than Sha Dao's. His perceptual physique deceived him this time. Because Lin Chen has a very good relationship with Ling Qingge, he knows the shortcomings of perceptual physique. Luo Chang himself has a perceptual physique. Unfortunately, Luo Chang does not know the perceptual physique and has some blind spots. He was too arrogant, so now his head appeared next to his feet, and his upper body was hit by 4 laser beams. The entire upper body, except for the head, was completely evaporated. The energy of the particle flow generated by the intersection of 4 laser beams is so strong that ordinary flesh and blood cannot resist it. Lin Chen estimated that only the body of a strong person who had awakened 3 times could withstand such an attack. Of course, these things are still very far away from Lin Chen. Therefore, he did not know whether the powerful person who had awakened 3 times had such ability. In the 6th room, the only living person now is Deng Tong. Deng Tong is the 3rd in command of the Holy Knights, but although he is not dead, he will not survive. Because almost half of Deng Tong's body had completely disappeared. With such an injury, unless Lin Chen could become an alchemist comparable to a 3-time awakening powerhouse. After refining some epic potions, you can try them. See if you can save this Deng Tong. But now even if Lin Chen spends all his skill points to add some alchemist points, he still can't do this. So at this time, Deng Tong had only one way to die. The most that can be done is to say a few last words before death. Lin Chen, are you still alive? Deng Tong lay on the ground and said vaguely. He himself didn't quite understand why he thought of Lin Chen at this time. Perhaps Lin Chen reminded everyone when they entered this room. There may be a super laser cannon in this place. Since Lin Chen reminded everyone, Lin Chen might have made some precautionary preparations. But soon, Deng Tong laughed at himself again. Under this level of attack, even if Lin Chen was prepared, he would definitely be dead. Therefore, his question just now was completely in vain. In the sacred space, Lin Chen certainly heard Deng Tong's words. However, Lin Chen didn't know if Deng Tong could hear him when he spoke in the sacred space. After thinking for a moment, he finally spoke. Lord Deng Tong, I am still alive. After Lin Chen finished speaking, Deng Tong's desperate eyes couldn't help but reveal surprise. He won't survive, but he still hopes that some miracle will happen. For example, if Lin Chen is not dead, then he will bring out the information about this place. Good. Great. Lin Chen, listen carefully. If you can get out, we must take the information out. The mechanism in this room is a super particle cannon. Everyone guessed wrong about the mechanism in the next room. The mechanism in the next room is... Ahem. Deng Tong said that there was a cough here, and Lin Chen had a toothache. Although Deng Tong will definitely not be able to hold on anymore, Deng Tong should not be able to hold on at this time. Listen carefully. The mechanism in the 7th room is nano-cutting rays. After Deng Tong finished speaking, Lin Chen finally had a chance to speak. He asked immediately, Master Deng Tong, how do you know? Because they are still in the 6th room. It is undoubtedly strange that Deng Tong knows about the nano-cutting ray. Isn't there a warning sign next to it? Deng Tong said angrily and amusedly. However, after saying this, Deng Tong couldn't say anything. Master Deng Tong, Lin Chen called out uncertainly, and then he understood. At this time, Deng Tong was dead. The 3rd in command of the Paladin is definitely the strongest among the strong, and is definitely a powerful figure. But such a big man died quietly at this time. After Deng Tong's death, Lin Chen also felt a little regretful. He actually had one last question to ask just now. That is, can Deng Tong shine and heat up in the last moment of his life? Blast a gap in this place. Although it is unlikely, you can still try. If there is a gap, he may try to escape from this gap. In the 6th room, after Deng Tong's death, it was completely quiet. Lin Chen knew that Elizabeth's life was also in a countdown at this time. If Elizabeth could not be rescued at this moment, then Elizabeth would die soon. However, most of the medicines he had were of lower quality. He could not save Elizabeth at this moment. After thinking about it, Lin Chen understood that if he did not want to see Elizabeth die in front of him, then what he needed to do now was to find a way to leave this place. Now these laser beams have stopped attacking. I don't know how these laser beams are triggered. When we entered here before, these laser beams were not triggered. That is to say, these laser beams must have triggering conditions. Thinking of this, Lin Chen immediately began to think. Did someone do something that shouldn't be done just now? After thinking for a long time, Lin Chen still had no clue. As a last resort, he could only throw a small self-destruct robot out to test the water. When Lin Chen threw the self-destruct robot out, a laser beam came almost instantly. The self-destruct robot was blasted into pieces before it landed. Isn't this unsolvable? Seeing this scene, Lin Chen was a little helpless. Could it be that we just add points and summon Cassius? With the strength of the Apostle's body, it shouldn't be a problem to destroy all the laser emitters in this place. Lin Chen thought uncertainly in his heart. But soon, Lin Chen thought of a better idea. If he directly added points to awakening, most of his skill points would be consumed. Those skill points were his precious wealth after signing in for 18 years, and they must be used reasonably. Moreover, he could not upgrade Cassius to the maximum level now. With only one level, Cassius could not exert much strength. Thinking of this, Lin Chen began to use the summoner's skills. Elf Summon. Revos. After Lin Chen used the Elf Summon, 3 Revos elves were summoned. The laser particle cannon used photoelectric attack. The Revos elves are photoelectric elves, and these elves are almost immune to photoelectric attributes. Thinking of this, Lin Chen also released the Revos elves. When the Revos elves went out, Lin Chen was also a little nervous. Boom, boom, boom. Under Lin Chen's gaze, many Revos elves were also attacked. However, these elves themselves can be immune to photoelectric attacks to a great extent. Therefore, when many photoelectric attacks fall on the Revos elves, they cannot kill them instantly. As time goes by, more and more super-powered laser beams also attack at this time. Although these Revos elves can be immune to photoelectric attacks to a great extent, but they cannot be permanently immune to photoelectric attacks. Under continuous attacks, these 3 Revos elves were completely killed not long after. Seeing such a scene, Lin Chen couldn't help but have a headache. The Revos elves are not good either. Such a high-level photoelectric elf obviously can't hold on for long. This time it's troublesome. Always put airdrop support in the sacred space and blow up this place directly. Lin Chen suddenly had a strange idea in his mind. However, he quickly rejected it. Airdrop support can't attack many machine launchers at all. When Lin Chen was at a loss, he suddenly saw a ceiling skill of the ammunition expert. Near Sniper. Skill status Seal. What the hell? Is there such an operation? Next to the Near Sniper, there is also a Laser Sniper skill. The Near Sniper is gray, while the Laser Sniper is light gold. This light gold skill can turn into gold after adding points to activate it. The gray skill means that some ammunition experts once mastered this skill. But now, this skill has been sealed. Sealed skill. After adding points, there is a certain chance to learn it. Near Sniper. Use hyperspace firearms, Near Sniper rifle, to attack all-round targets. Near Space Sniper bullet, 5/5 rounds. See detailed instructions. After seeing this sealed skill, Lin Chen immediately understood. If he wants to break the situation now, he can only use this method. And he only has 5 bullets. Therefore, he can only shoot down some very critical laser particle cannons. After shooting down 5 very critical laser particle cannons, he must be able to leave here. But the biggest problem now is not which 5 laser particle cannons to shoot down. It's this skill. The special one is the seal skill. Originally, most ammunition experts mastered this skill. But as more and more ammunition experts began to use laser sniping, this skill was lost. Although it's a bit tricky, Lin Chen still wanted to give it a try. Choose to add points. Ding. Added points successfully. Congratulations on mastering the Near Sniper skill. When the system prompt sounded, Lin Chen's face was directly filled with 3 question marks. It was said that there was only a very low probability of mastering it. When adding points to this skill, Lin Chen had already made plans to lose a lot of blood. As a result, he succeeded in adding points as soon as he added points. In this case, brother will directly add points to this. Thinking of this, Lin Chen added points again. Seal skill. Near Sniper, failed to add points, please continue to try. When the system sent this prompt, Lin Chen smiled. It seems that his luck really exploded when he entered the soul just now. If you continue to add more points now, you will definitely not get back all your money. Instead of adding points like this, he might as well add other non-sealed skills. Non-sealed skills are skills that will never fail no matter how many points you add. Now that Near Sniper was available, Lin Chen decisively used Near Sniper at this time. Bang! A huge scope sight soon appeared in front of him. Near Sniper rifle is a transcendent space weapon. The field of view of this scope is 360 degrees with no blind spots. Therefore, when Lin Chen saw the sight of this scope, he was sure. He can definitely use Near Sniper to knock out 5 super particle cannons. Bang! when the center of the sight is locked on the energy core of a superparticle cannon. Lin Chen didn't hesitate at all and shot directly. Crack! A sniper bullet with extremely strong penetrating and lethality, instantly destroying the superparticle cannon. The energy core was blasted into pieces. Seeing this scene, Lin Chen was overjoyed. This shows that his idea is completely feasible. Since this idea is completely feasible, there is nothing to hesitate about. Continue to follow this idea and knock out the remaining laser particle cannons, and he will be able to leave this place. As for why he wasn't killed, he had figured out how to explain it. Let's just say that he destroyed a laser particle cannon as soon as he arrived, and then a blank area appeared for attack. This statement is completely true. Because in some places, there really is only one laser particle cannon that can attack. Chapter 91. Bang! At this time, Lin Chen had already fired the second shot. Crack! After this shot, another laser particle cannon's energy core was destroyed by Lin Chen. Then came the third, fourth, and fifth. After these 5 laser particle cannons were destroyed by Lin Chen, an escape route appeared in front of Lin Chen. However, he still did not act rashly. At this time, rash action is likely to cause problems. After destroying these 5 laser particle cannons, Lin Chen began to test with the self-destructor robot. After testing several times, he finally confirmed that this place can indeed be left. After confirming again and again, he also left the sacred space and began to move forward cautiously. The weapon behind Lin Chen at this moment is a staff. If he encounters an emergency, he can use a teleportation instantly. Or use a substitute scarecrow. But in this place, using a substitute scarecrow is likely to be a dead end. So he either teleports directly or enters the sacred space again. After Lin Chen went out, he quickly approached the exit. However, just as he approached the exit, a laser particle cannon seemed to capture his figure instantly. This laser particle cannon also released a terrifying laser beam instantly. When the laser particle cannon, the extremely terrifying laser beam attacked, Lin Chen did not hesitate at all and used teleportation in advance. Even if he used teleportation in advance, a strand of his hair was instantly turned into powder under the laser particle cannon. Fortunately, at this time, his figure had already appeared outside the exit. At the same time, Elizabeth was already in his arms. Not long after Lin Chen came out of the 6th room, Elizabeth, who had fainted before, also moved in Lin Chen's arms. Then, her beautiful eyes slowly opened. "Is this hell?" Elizabeth said uncertainly. Although she had avoided several fatal attacks instantly before, she still suffered a lot of fatal injuries. In Elizabeth's opinion, she must be dead now. "This is the 5th room." Lin Chen grinned and said to Elizabeth. "The 5th room. So, we are safe." Elizabeth looked at Lin Chen in disbelief, and at this time, Lin Chen also nodded. "Yes, we are safe." After Lin Chen nodded, Elizabeth also snuggled in Lin Chen's arms and stopped talking. She was very weak now, and even speaking was very difficult. Under such circumstances, Elizabeth didn't want to do anything except snuggle in Lin Chen's arms. "I'm so cold." Elizabeth's voice was a little weak. Lin Chen immediately hugged the beautiful tutor tighter. Even a strong man who has awakened once is very fragile when he is seriously injured and weak to a certain extent. Not long after Lin Chen and Elizabeth appeared here, his communicator returned to normal again. "Headquarters calling Lin Chen. Headquarters calling Lin Chen. Please answer if you receive it. Please answer if you receive it. Over." Because the communicators of Lin Chen and others were previously affected by the strong magnetic field and laser particle flow, so there was no signal in the 7th room. The signal was restored after Lin Chen came out of the 7th room. Lin Chen received it, and the call can be made normally. Over. Lin Chen did not use the conventional call mode of repeating twice. Because everything has been restored now, they can talk normally. "Lin Chen, what happened in the 6th room?" This time, it was Ling Tianan's voice that came out. "In the 6th room, there are 36 laser particle cannons. These laser particle cannons almost completely block the 6th room without dead angles. Commander Deng Tong and others have all died." Lin Chen roughly recounted the previous events. Of course, he did not talk about the sacred space. When Lin Chen said this, the 12 members of the God War Department and the commanders of the 4 war zones as well as the 3 chairmen of the God War Department, 1 principal and 2 deputy chairmen, and most of the other important senior officials. All were listening to the conversation between Lin Chen and Ling Tianan. Brandy, the second in command of the Paladin Order, had escaped with serious injuries before, but now he has died after failed rescue. Deng Tong, the third in command of the Paladin Order, also died not long ago. No valuable things have been found in this place left by the glorious organization. As for the high-level officials of the God War Department, 2 of them have already sacrificed their lives for this special research institute. This incident naturally attracted the attention of all parties in the God War Department. Lin Chen, if that's the case, then how did you escape? Ling Tianan didn't really want to ask this question. But he had to ask it, even if it might involve Lin Chen's privacy. I mastered Neil Sniper a long time ago. Lin Chen's answer seemed to be somewhat irrelevant. The high-level officials at the level of the counselor of the God War Department heard Lin Chen's answer. They immediately understood what had happened before. The high-level officials below the counselor were slightly stunned when they heard about Neil Sniper. That is a skill that few people have now, but what does it have to do with Lin Chen being alive? At first, everyone was naturally confused. But after a moment, everyone present understood it immediately. Even if there were a few senior executives who didn't understand, they soon found out after a simple inquiry. Neil Sniper. It's really rare. Can you tell me more about it? Ling Tianan asked with great satisfaction. He originally thought that Lin Chen might have a special treasure given by a super strong man who had awakened 3 times. Now he knows that Lin Chen finally broke through with his ability, courage, and wisdom. Thinking of this, Ling Tianan was also very curious about how Lin Chen did it. When Ling Qingge and I were working together before, I found that there were some blind spots in the perception of physique. So I reminded him when he entered the 6th room. Although this suggestion was not adopted at the time. But I was still vigilant when I entered. As soon as I noticed something unusual, I quickly used Neil's sniper to shoot down 2 laser particle cannons. That's why I got a hiding place in the blank area of the attack. After Lin Chen explained this, everyone nodded. Lin Chen's explanation was completely reasonable. In the eyes of everyone, it seemed that only someone like Lin Chen could survive at that time. However, Elizabeth in Lin Chen's arms was a little confused. She didn't seem to hear the gunfire before she passed out. But those are no longer important now, things have happened, everything is a foregone conclusion. Very good. Someone will go to pick you up now. This training session, you can end in first place ahead of schedule. When Ling Tianan said this, Yuan Shugong naturally had no objection. Even Deng Tong, the third in command of the Holy Knights, was killed. While Lin Chen was protecting himself, he was able to rescue the half-dead Elizabeth. With such results, if Lin Chen takes first place, no one will be dissatisfied. Not long after, a silver-faced paladin also appeared in front of Lin Chen and Elizabeth. When this silver-faced paladin appeared, Lin Chen felt an unprecedented power. Lord Qin Mulan. Even though Elizabeth was in a bad state, she was still shocked. The leader of the silver-faced Holy Knights, Qin Mulan, has awakened the powerhouse 3 times. Qin Mulan nodded slightly, and then passed Lin Chen and Elizabeth. Sister, it's very dangerous here. Lin Chen wanted to say something to this paladin sister who carries a terrifying weapon with her. The 6th room was very dangerous, but before he finished speaking, he was stunned. Because this Lord Qin Mulan directly faced numerous laser particle cannons with the force of a violent storm. Just use your bare hands to dismantle all these laser particle cannons. As the female paladin who has awakened 3 times so cruel. Apart from cruelty, Lin Chen couldn't find any more suitable words. Even in Lin Chen's view, this is no longer a question of cruelty. The extremely terrifying laser particles bombarded Qin Mulan's armor and body, just like scraping Qin Mulan. The laser particle cannon that could instantly kill Deng Tong was unable to let Qin Mulan break through the defense. Under such circumstances, how could Lin Chen not be surprised? Now Lin Chen is even thinking about the existence of such a terrifying guy. Shouldn't the land of God's war have been bulldozed long ago? Or is it that there are more terrifying guys in the land of God's war? For example, those apostles. While Lin Chen was still thinking, Chin Mulan had already penetrated the 6th room. Then comes the 7th room, and finally the Lord Boss room. These rooms are not a problem at all in front of Chin Mulan. Not long after, Chin Mulan came out again without any injuries on her body. The previously well-preserved research institute was turned into ruins in her hands. However, Chin Mulan still had a silver suitcase in his hand. After Chin Mulan came to Lin Chen, she immediately patted Lin Chen on the shoulder and said, "Good job, little guy. Come with me." After Chin Mulan finished speaking, she walked ahead. Lin Chen was a little dumbfounded. Elizabeth in his arms was about to die. "Are you sure you won't save Elizabeth at this time?" When Lin Chen was thinking this, Elizabeth rolled her eyes at Lin Chen angrily. Lin Chen also suddenly remembered that Elizabeth's special ability was telepathy. Under such circumstances, Elizabeth certainly knew what he was thinking. "Ahem, beautiful tutor, I said it was just for fun." Lin Chen coughed twice, then hugged Elizabeth and continued moving forward. "Girl, why don't you come down and go by yourself?" Chin Mulan walked a few steps, but said without looking back. "It's rare that he behaves so well. Let's reward him with a hug for a while." After Elizabeth said this, Lin Chen also discovered it. Elizabeth's self-healing ability is terrifying. She was half dead just now, but after she woke up, her body began to recover. After making this discovery, Lin Chen was also very surprised. This ability is somewhat like the immortality of a magician. When fatally injured, there is a slow healing and recovery process. Of course, there are still some differences. Elizabeth's ability does not seem to be a passive ability, but an active ability. While Lin Chen was thinking about it, Chin Mulan's energy also fluctuated. Then his eyes went blank, and when he appeared again, he had already appeared in the core area of the God War Department. This is where the ace elites of the Divine War Department and many high-level officials gather. For ordinary elites of the Divine War Department to come here, they have to be on the Hidden Dragon ranking at least 10 times. Lin Chen was the first person in history who was allowed to come here under unusual circumstances. And Lin Chen is obviously qualified to be here. Because where Deng Tongdu was killed, Lin Chen could still escape unharmed. This is enough to show that in terms of survivability, are some special areas. Lin Chen's potential and even ability have surpassed Deng Tong. This time the deputy leader of the Holy Knights, Deng Tong, died, which is a serious matter. We need to double-check what you said and establish some facts. What you said before can be restated again. If the facts we finally investigated are very different from the facts you stated, then you need to bear some responsibility. If you have special needs, you can mention them now. In addition, this is a 6-piece set of IV-25 and IV-30 heritage equipment, 2 sets in one type. No matter what the investigation results are, these 4 sets of equipment are the rewards from the Paladin Order for your bravery. This time, it was Douglas of the Paladin Order who spoke. He can basically be regarded as the head of the Paladin Order now. Although the process is a bit troublesome, the Paladin Order's sincerity is obviously still there. 4 sets of inheritance equipment were given at once. Lin Chen and Ling Qingge were fully taken into consideration. Okay, I have nothing to add. Lin Chen insisted directly that what he said before was the truth. As long as he didn't say it, no one would know about the sacred space. Of course, Elizabeth in his arms might notice something unusual. Princess Elizabeth, is he telling the truth? Lin Chen didn't expect that Douglas called Elizabeth a princess. Lin Chen had heard of the 12 great families. But it seems that Elizabeth's background seems to be greater than the 12 great families. Because even the daughters of the 12 great families are not called princesses. Yeah, what he said is true. Elizabeth nodded without thinking. There are several people with the perception physique in the God War Department. She is the only one in the entire God War Department who has the telepathic physique. Lin Chen said it so confidently, so she just nodded. However, she still knew that Lin Chen was lying. Although she didn't hear Lin Chen's inner voice, Lin Chen's mental fluctuations just now were obviously wrong. Especially in such a close contact, Lin Chen had nothing to hide from her. Good, now please use Near Sniper. Because so far, no one among the active elites of the Divine War Department knows this skill. Lin Chen was also a little surprised when Douglas said this. He now somewhat understands why this thing is a ceiling skill. No one even knows how to do it among the elites of the Divine War Department, so there must be even less people in other places who know how to do it. Lin Chen put Elizabeth down and immediately started to operate Neil's sniper. Strictly speaking, this is a transcendent weapon across time and space. In front of Lin Chen, there was just a special high-tech instrument. With the help of this instrument, he was able to see all aspects of the field of vision. If you can, please hit the target over there. Douglas now believed that what Lin Chen said before was true. After he finished speaking, Lin Chen naturally didn't hesitate at all. Fire it directly and smash the target in the distance to pieces. Good. After seeing this scene, many senior officials of the Divine War Department felt relieved. This is enough to show that what Lin Chen said before is true. Because he is fully capable of doing those things. In such a critical situation, it seemed that Lin Chen could only survive by doing this. Alright, our inspection is complete. These 4 sets of inheritance equipment sets are given to you. Although Douglas gave away 4 sets of heritage equipment sets, he didn't feel sad at all. Because these 4 sets of sharpshooters heritage equipment sets have been placed in the warehouse of the Holy Knights, eating ashes for many years. This discovery can be used to reward Lin Chen and reward good friendship with Lin Chen. Without any hesitation, Douglas directly took out these 4 sets of heritage equipment and rewarded Lin Chen. After Douglas finished speaking, Lin Chen was also extremely surprised. His sign and gift bag and treasure chest may contain these, or they may be useless. But no one can have too much of a good thing like inherited equipment. Even if you don't use it yourself, you can still use it to break down advanced materials. What's more, he can use these materials now. On the other side, in the Tianlu training base. Because Lin Chen has received approval to end the training camp early. To be fair, this training session also ended early. When they heard the news, many elites almost cried. In their hearts, they were extremely grateful to Lin Chen. If Lin Chen hadn't been approved in advance and didn't need to continue training, then they would definitely have to continue training. The reason why Yuan Shugong asked everyone to end it early was because from now on, elites who have awakened below will organize a training camp every 3 months. In other words, training camps will become a norm in the future. Under such circumstances, everyone was naturally not happy for long before they were about to cry. When other elites finish training and return to rest, Lin Chen can't go back, and now many senior officials are paying great attention to him. Although he was not sectioned for study, he still had to undergo more than 800 tests. Because of the abilities he displayed, he is suitable for all combat-based professions and all life-based professions. And, it has great reference significance for the research and development of students in all gifted professions. For a moment, Lin Chen was a little miserable. The only advantage is that after the test, you can get some rewards for each test. Also, after all testing is over, Elizabeth, the beautiful tutor, would soak in the energy hot springs with him. Soaking in an energy hot spring together is like a Mandarin duck bath, right? Ha ha ha. Thinking of this, Lin Chen definitely felt that all the suffering was worth it. Of course, it would be even more worthwhile if you could also add Lord Qin Mulan, who is armed with a pair of huge weapons. Ahem, you are too courageous. If Master Qin Mulan knows what you are doing, I will tear your head off. When Lin Chen was preparing for the next test, Elizabeth also exhaled beside him and said softly. After hearing Elizabeth's words, Lin Chen decided not to think about Qin Mulan, but focused on Elizabeth. When Elizabeth was severely injured by the laser beam, her clothes were ragged and white. Boom! Before Lin Chen could continue thinking, he was hit on the head. Kid, can you be normal? Elizabeth sighed and looked at Lin Chen helplessly. Lin Chen grinned and thought of something outrageous. When Elizabeth was fine, she kept sensing him with telepathy. Elizabeth was immediately speechless, this hateful guy. However, after thinking that Lin Chen was her savior, Elizabeth could only grit her teeth and endure it. If you dare to do this again, I will tell Lord Qin Mulan about your blasphemy. Elizabeth whispered a threat in Lin Chen's ear. I can't do it, I can't do it. Hearing this, Lin Chen gave up decisively. This is no joke, even though Master Qin Mulan has the face of an angel and the body of a devil. But he had seen Lord Qin Mulan's terror and strength with his own eyes before. If according to Elizabeth's description, Chin Mulan cares about these things, one punch can knock him into the sacred space passively. While Lin Chen and Elizabeth were talking, Chin Mulan was lying lazily in the office. There was a cold smile on the corner of her mouth. In terms of telepathic physique, Elizabeth is indeed the only one in the Divine War Department. However, in the God War Department, there is another person who possesses dual physiques of perception and telepathy. Unfortunately, that person is her. So she was completely aware of the conversation between Lin Chen and Elizabeth. As for the things Lin Chen was thinking about just now, in Chin Mulan's opinion, they were nothing at all. These two murder weapons were her pride, and there was nothing she could not say about them. While thinking in her heart, Chin Mulan's eyes also swept away with great satisfaction. On the other side, Lin Chen went to the test honestly. These tests are all tests for the various abilities he has displayed so far. However, no one knows. The abilities he is showing now are just the tip of the iceberg of his total abilities. Only 3% of his skill points have been used so far. Yes, only 3% was used, not 30%. He also has a large number of skill books and skill point scrolls that have not been used yet. Therefore, the current test data cannot even understand 3% of him. The sign-in system is something that has been accumulated over time. As time goes by, with the sign-in system, he will only become more terrifying and unfathomable. And when the results of each of Lin Chen's tests came out, all scientific research laboratories were basically in an uproar, and everyone was shocked. In the Divine War Department, Lin Chen became more and more familiar with the place as he completed various tests. Lin Chen was not very familiar with the Divine War Department before. Now he already knows that the God War Department can be roughly divided into 4 regions. The geographical locations of these 4 regions are different, and the focus of each development is different. The first area is the living and training area for the elites of the 4th grade and 8th grade of the Divine War Department. The elites of the Divine War Department are not elected once a year, but once every 6 months. Therefore, there are 8 elite students in 4 grades. The second area can be compared with graduate students from ordinary institutions of higher learning. There are 3 grades here, that is, the 6th grade of super elite students. The third area is to benchmark doctoral students from ordinary institutions of higher learning. There are also 3 grades here, which are the 6 elite students. The higher you go, the fewer the elites are and their strength becomes stronger. When Lin Chen took the test, he met many very powerful senior brothers and sisters. These 3 areas are all for students, and the 4th area is for the instructors of the God War Department. The instructors of the Divine War Department are divided into 5 levels, which Lin Chen knew before. But this time during the test, he also understood a little more. It turns out that in the God War Department, the number of mentors is not very large. Even less than the ace elites in the 3rd region. There are less than 200 special training instructors like He Lang in the Divine War Department. The tutor beside him, Elizabeth, was previously an assistant teacher. There are less than 100 assistant instructors in the Divine War Department. As for formal mentors, there are only 50. There are less than 30 expert instructors at higher levels. There are currently only 15 super expert instructors like Ling Tianan. It can be seen that it is definitely very difficult to become a mentor of the God War Department. Otherwise, the God War Department has trained so many super elites and ace elites, and there will not be only such a few mentors. Alright, there is one last practical test, and all test projects are over. Beside Lin Chen, Elizabeth spoke lazily. Because Lin Chen was not familiar with the God War Department, during Lin Chen's test, Ling Tianan and other senior officials also asked her to accompany them throughout the process. As for the reward she gave Lin Chen, it was for her to tease Lin Chen. Ling Tianan and others were all focused on academics, burning ointment to follow the sundial, and reading the scriptures with their bright heads. How could he have so many ideas and arrange benefits for Lin Chen? Is there only the last item? Lin Chen nodded slightly and said casually. How, you don't seem very happy. Don't you look forward to taking an energy hot spring bath with your sister? Elizabeth was now used to teasing Lin Chen. No matter what happened, she would always tease Lin Chen. Anticipation is anticipation. I'm just worried that I might not be able to control it by then. Lin Chen chuckled. His relationship with Elizabeth had obviously improved a lot. Elizabeth wouldn't be offended by a little joke like this. However, Elizabeth was not angry, but assistant teacher Sha Kun was. Sha Kun and Elizabeth are the youngest assistant teachers. Of course, now Elizabeth takes the lead and becomes the official mentor. With Sha Kun's talent and strength, it's obviously not that far away from him becoming an official mentor. Hello, Lin Chen. I am assistant instructor Sha Kun. This time I am responsible for testing your strength. Because of the virtual fighting cabin, the data cannot be accurately recorded. So this fight will be in the balanced fighting arena. The balanced fighting field is a real fighting field. But the magic circle there will balance and suppress my strength. My strength level will be the same as yours, so I will go all out when testing. There was no fluctuation on Sha Kun's face, but there was coldness deep in his eyes. Elizabeth was his forbidden love, and Lin Chen was just a waste in a talented profession. Now, he was actually flirting with the woman he liked, Sha Kun, here. Although he did not dare to beat Lin Chen to death in the balance fighting arena, it was still necessary to loosen Lin Chen's muscles and bones. Hello, teacher Sha Kun. Lin Chen could naturally feel Sha Kun's flash of murderous intent. He is not a fool. He can understand from the look in Sha Kun's eyes at Elizabeth. This Sha Kun had bad intentions for Elizabeth. But, who stipulates that Elizabeth must be Sha Kun's? Elizabeth is a free person, not an object. Since Sha Kun insists on giving him a try, he doesn't care. Elizabeth's expression changed slightly. Sha Kun, the order from your superiors is to conduct testing in the virtual combat cabin. The virtual fighting cabin and the balanced fighting arena are two completely different concepts. In the virtual fighting cabin, all experiences are very real. But in fact, both injuries and deaths were fake and did not happen. It's just that when in the virtual fighting cabin, the magic circle will give practitioners a highly similar feeling. Let the practitioner feel the feeling of being injured or even dead. However, whether injured or dead, they will disappear when leaving the virtual fighting cabin. It's different with the balanced fighting arena, which is a real environment. However, the strength of Lin Chen and Sha Kun will be balanced and adjusted by the magic circle. Let the two people's strength rating be at the same level. But Lin Chen has only been in the God War department for more than a month. Sha Kun is already a senior assistant instructor in the God War department. In this case, how can Lin Chen be Sha Kun's opponent? So, when Lin Chen wanted to fight with Sha Kun, Elizabeth did not agree that the two of them were in the balanced fighting field. Shui, I have no choice. You also know that there is a 1% error between the data of the virtual fighting cabin and the real data. A slight difference leads to 1,000 miles of error. So you should understand where it is more appropriate in the virtual fighting cabin and in the balanced fighting field. And I will definitely be measured when I take action, you don't have to worry. Shui is obviously another name for Elizabeth. Sha Kun called Elizabeth so intimately, which shows that he has had thoughts about Elizabeth for a long time. Who knew that at this moment, Lin Chen suddenly hugged Elizabeth. Sister Shui, don't worry. I also think the balanced fighting field is good. Elizabeth was stunned by Lin Chen's sudden attack. She really didn't expect that Lin Chen would suddenly attack. And she was defenseless against Lin Chen. So without any surprise, she was hugged by Lin Chen. Seeing this scene, Sha Kun almost ate Lin Chen. Many instructors and most of the senior officials of the God War department naturally knew Sha Kun's feelings for Elizabeth. Therefore, when Lin Chen and Nicholas Sha Kun were about to start the duel, many people came to watch. I had never known Lin Chen before, as was the mentor of many God War departments. Many senior officials of the Divine War department did not know much about Lin Chen. But now, whether it is the many senior officials of the God War department or the many mentors of the God War department, they already knew a lot about Lin Chen. But even so, they still couldn't understand Lin Chen 100%, which would have a huge impact on future judgments. After getting to know Lin Chen a little bit, everyone was very curious about Lin Chen. So at this time, there are many mentors and many senior leaders. Either in person at the venue, or by projecting video equipment, starting somewhere else. Watch this duel between Lin Chen and Nicholas Sha Kun. Because the two sides have to complete the duel in the balanced fighting field, this competition is also more interesting. It's so interesting. Among the 12 members of the God War Department, a pot-bellied member said with a smile. This fat-bellied congressman is called Zhu Tong. Among the 12 members of the Divine War Ministry, he is obviously very recognizable. Sha Kun is a genius who skipped the 2 stages of Super Elite and Ace Elite and directly promoted to Special Training Instructor. When he was still a regular elite in the God War Department, he entered the Hidden Dragon list 7 times in a row, which shows his extraordinary strength. But Lin Chen is also not an ordinary person. It can be seen from the limited information that Lin Chen is also very powerful. I'm really looking forward to the wonderful duel brought by these 2 guys. Counselor Zhu Dian said with a smile, while also looking at the audience very seriously. Off the court, Elizabeth glared at Counselor Lin Chen angrily. This bad guy Lin Chen actually dared to sneak attack her. It's also right to be punched a few times by Sha Kun. Of course, Elizabeth actually didn't want Lin Chen to be beaten by Sha Kun. She didn't know how many times she had rejected Sha Kun, but this Sha Kun just stuck to her like a dog's skin plaster. When many mentors and senior officials arrived one after another, Sha Kun also appeared on the balance fighting field. Immediately, he waved to Lin Chen. Lin Chen grinned and did not refuse. Soon, Lin Chen and Sha Kun appeared on the balance fighting field. Before Sha Kun could say anything more, Qin Mulan's figure appeared here in an instant. Then everyone heard Qin Mulan's voice. Since it's a battle in the balancing arena, then there are no rules until you fall. After all, this way, we can test Lin Chen's various data in more detail. After Qin Mulan's words came out, Sha Kun's eyes suddenly showed a look of ecstasy. He is a talented elite who has been on the Hidden Dragon ranking 7 times, and it is not easy to deal with Lin Chen. This boy Lin Chen actually dared to hug his woman. This time he couldn't kill Lin Chen, he had to make Lin Chen lose a layer of skin. After Qin Mulan finished speaking, she looked at Ling Tianan. Ling Tianan was the original principal of all of them. If Ling Tianan didn't agree, she couldn't do anything wrong. Unexpectedly, this time, Ling Tianan actually chuckled and then looked at Lin Chen. Lin Chen, the balanced fighting field is completely fair in terms of strength level. Do you want to abide by the rules taught by Qin Mulan? Ling Tianan also wanted to see what this young man's character was like. Are you aloof and arrogant, or are you flexible and flexible? Since it's a fair fight, I fully accept it. To the surprise of everyone present, Lin Chen blurted it out without even thinking about it. At this moment, everyone also saw a kind of self-confidence in him, an unimaginable self-confidence. It seemed that no matter what Lin Chen wanted to do, as long as he thought about it, he would definitely be able to do it. Under such circumstances, many mentors and senior executives are looking forward to it more and more. Without 2 brushes, Lin Chen would definitely not dare to accept such a battle. Now that he fully accepts such rules, he is still so confident. It can be seen that even if it is not a battle between dragons and tigers, it will definitely not be a completely crushing battle. At this time, Qin Mulan also chuckled and whispered in Lin Chen's ear. If you can win, it's not like I can't go to the energy hot spring with you. As soon as Qin Mulan said this, Lin Chen immediately expressed that he was a little panicked. Although Qin Mulan's skin is as smooth as frost and snow, it looks like it's broken. But this is a terrifying existence that has awakened 3 times. Lin Chen definitely knew how powerful and terrifying Qin Mulan was. Not long ago, he saw with his own eyes the kind of laser particle cannon that could instantly kill an awakened strong person. In front of Qin Mulan, he was like a toy. Under such circumstances, Lin Chen actually didn't really hope that Qin Mulan could go with them. If Qin Mulan doesn't go, he can still tease Elizabeth. Qin Mulan is gone, how dare he do whatever he wants. If the opponent raises his hand and punches, he can directly trigger the passive of the sacred space, allowing him to directly enter the sacred space and stay there. It's also possible that sacred space's passive couldn't even be triggered, so he was defeated. Of course, after all, he is also a member of the Divine War Department, and Lord Qin Mulan will not kill him easily. After Qin Mulan stepped aside, this place became the stage for Lin Chen and Sha Kun. Lin Chen, boy, may be in trouble. Maybe he still doesn't understand what it means to be on the Hidden Dragon list 7 times. And Shah Kun has still entered the Hidden Dragon ranking 7 times in a row, otherwise he wouldn't have jumped 2 levels directly. Many people around him were obviously very aware of Shah Kun's situation. Therefore, at this time, everyone looked at Lin Chen with some sympathy. Lin Chen's self-confidence, on the one hand, comes from strength, but on the other hand, it comes from ignorance. Are you ready? Shah Kun took out the necromancer's scepter in his hand. This Shah Kun turned out to be a necromancer. Shah Kun is not a simple necromancer, he is a dual professional. And, a true dual career. When Lin Chen was a little surprised, Elizabeth's voice suddenly appeared in his sea of consciousness. Magical sound transmission, universal method. Lin Chen had already learned this ability when he was in Shanghai High School. I know, wife. To Elizabeth's surprise, she kindly reminded her. At this time, Lin Chen, a brat, actually took advantage of her. Snort. After Lin Chen finished speaking, Elizabeth snorted lightly and was too lazy to pay attention to this guy. Does this kid still look like an elite student now? No. Arrow of the Curse. After Lin Chen was ready, Shah Kun directly used one of the necromancer's exclusive skills, Cursed Arrow. Suddenly, 6 flying arrows were completely condensed with scarlet cursed blood. They lined up directly and appeared in front of Shah Kun. Every cursed arrow completely locked Lin Chen at this moment. Go! Shah Kun didn't give Lin Chen any time to react. After condensing the cursed arrow, he released it instantly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Sounds breaking through the air came out at this time. Accompanied by the sound that broke through the air, there were streaks of scarlet blood. Within a moment, these many scarlet blood shadows appeared in front of Lin Chen. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Silver bullet reload. Move and shoot. Bang bang bang. Under the gaze of everyone, Lin Chen did not use other means, but used his previous ability. I saw him rising into the air, clasping his hands together to make a set of extremely familiar movements. Then he shouted in the distance. There are too many people watching here now, which is a kind of restraint for him. If there weren't so many powerful people here, he would just use the necromancer's ability. As the gun in Lin Chen's hand fired out silver bullets one after another. Shah Kun's curse arrow was also completely shattered by Lin Chen at this time. But Shah Kun didn't care, he quickly moved closer to Lin Chen. He is a dual professional, and his other profession is assassin. Assassins and necromancers are naturally complementary to each other. His method just now was just to test Lin Chen, the real killer move was yet to come. Arrival. Barak the Tyrant. While constantly approaching Lin Chen, Shah Kun also summoned a powerful undead spirit. After seeing this scene, everyone around looked at Lin Chen nervously. Tyrant Balak is a very powerful undead spirit. How will Lin Chen deal with him at this time? Airdrop support. Fire Viper Cannon. Fire Viper Cannon Group 2. Air Combat Machinery. Storm LC First Generation. Kalora. Modification. Predator. Camouflage. After Shah Kun summoned Balak, Lin Chen came directly with a mechanical family bucket. After releasing many combat machines, he snapped his fingers. Immediately, a layer of optical camouflage appeared on his body and disappeared. Boom, boom, boom. When the airdrop support flew over, many bombs and many small robots also continued to land at this time. Mechanical improvements. At this time, Lin Chen once again strengthened all the machinery. You have a small skill, but you still dare to do the same thing. Shah Kun sneered and immediately started to attack. When Shah Kun was not attacking, Balak's shadow kept following him. After Shah Kun started to attack, Barak's huge shadow instantly condensed into a solid body. Then, attack with him. Boom. When Barak's 10-meter-long sword fell, small robots such as self-destructors were killed with one strike. Bang bang bang. The Flame Viper cannon hit Barak, but it had no effect at all. This guy is not only powerful in attack, but also very scary in defense. Arrival. Prince of the Spiders, Nicholas. Shah Kun is obviously not only able to summon a dead spirit. Soon, an elegant young man wearing a tuxedo evening dress was also summoned by him. This elegant young man wore a dark blue evening dress and behaved very elegantly. His figure was suspended in midair, holding a magic book in his hand. Summon zombies. After the Spider Prince appeared, Shah Kun released his skills again. Then the Spider Prince also threw a magic ball. The magic ball exploded, and 5 black zombies appeared instantly at this moment. After these 5 black zombies appeared, they immediately rushed towards Lin Chen's machine. Boom, boom, boom. Although mechanical artillery shells such as the Tempest are not very effective against the Tyrant Barak, but beating this kind of zombie is a piece of cake. In just a few clicks, all these zombies were defeated. After defeating all the zombies, Lin Chen also retreated to a safe area in the duel field. Immediately, he used Near Sniper. Neil Sniper. After releasing the skill, a special machine appeared in front of Lin Chen. He has used this time and space transcendence device before. When Lin Chen used it again, Sha Kun felt a chill in his heart. Bang! When Lin Chen fired his first shot, Sha Kun turned into an afterimage and escaped. Shadow attack. Sharp. After one shot failed, even Lin Chen had to admit that Sha Kun was very powerful. Snort. It turns out to be here. Because Lin Chen used a skill, his optical camouflage was temporarily disabled. At this time, Sha Kun raised his hand and threw a magic ball towards Lin Chen. 100 Ghosts Night Parade. When the magic ball appeared not far from Lin Chen, it exploded. What Sha Kun didn't expect was that Lin Chen didn't choose to dodge at this time. Second shot. Bang. When Lin Chen saw this white magic ball, he knew what it was. There is a process for throwing this thing over and then exploding it. If he wanted to, he could even do it while the thing was flying over. Just raise your hand and shoot this thing away. But Lin Chen didn't do that. He chose to shoot Sha Kun when the thing flew over. Puff. A blood mist exploded directly in Sha Kun's abdomen. Although Sha Kun used the ninjutsu substitute at the critical moment. However, Lin Chen's move was too fast, and he was still touched by Lin Chen's attack. Shoot in the air. At the same time, Lin Chen jumped up directly, shooting and retreating in the air. As he continued to retreat, many bullets whistled towards Sha Kun. Bang bang bang. Bullets continued to fall. Sha Kun immediately began to move quickly, and at the same time, he used the curse arrow to fight back. During this process, the Tyrant Barak rushed directly towards Lin Chen. Oh my god, is it so fierce? Although Lin Chen had used Barak before, he had never controlled Barak to rush out. When Barak rushed, Lin Chen directly avoided it with a floating shovel. He did not use the floating shovel on Barak, otherwise he would be easily chopped by the 10-meter-long sword. Super Laser Cannon. After keeping a distance from Sha Kun, Lin Chen decisively used the Super Laser Cannon. Seeing this scene, Sha Kun was shocked. This guy really has all the skills of the sharpshooter. Boom. While Sha Kun was frantically moving and dodging, a bright blue beam of light also blasted towards the Spider Prince and the Tyrant Barak. These two guys are a certain threat to him. If he can't hit Sha Kun, can he still not hit these two idiots? Bang. Sure enough, under the terrifying power of the Super Laser Cannon, the Spider Prince Nicholas and the Tyrant Barak. At this time, they were directly penetrated by the Super Laser Beam. However, the life status of these two guys is very scary, and the blood bar is simply exaggerated. He resisted a blast from the Super Laser Cannon, but his health was only reduced by 1/10. When Lin Chen and Sha Kun arrived here, everyone looked at Lin Chen with extremely shocked eyes. When Sha Kun was still a student, he entered the Hidden Dragon list 7 times in a row. Now that Sha Kun has become an assistant instructor, his strength is even more terrifying. But the battle between Lin Chen and Sha Kun turned out to be a battle between dragons and tigers. This situation was unexpected by everyone present. They never thought that something like this would happen. However, what Lin Chen wants is not to be on par with Sha Kun and compete with each other. He must now loosen up Sha Kun's muscles and bones to avoid this guy. He has been pestering his second wife. The so-called second wife is naturally Elizabeth, because Ling Qingge is the eldest wife. I'm afraid he will be the one who explodes when the time comes. Focus on the flamethrower. When Sha Kun rushed over and wanted to use assassin's methods, Lin Chen used the gathering flamethrower without hesitation. In an instant, a pillar of flame about 30 meters directly blasted Sha Kun away. Of course, Sha Kun also had the power to dodge, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to fly so far. After being forced back by Lin Chen again, Sha Kun was speechless. This shit will never end. Lin Chen's attacks were almost all from super long range. Under such circumstances, he simply cannot take advantage of his dual career. Super Laser Cannon. When Sha Kun was still thinking that all Lin Chen's attacks were super long-range attacks, Lin Chen's Super Laser Cannon suddenly arrived again. What the hell? Air jump. As a dual professional, Sha Kun is extremely flexible and his skills are extremely smooth. As he moved, he easily jumped up from the ground. After Sha Kun jumped up from the ground, he jumped again in the air. With 2 consecutive jumps, he easily avoided Lin Chen's attack. Floating bomb. But when Sha Kun fell from midair, Lin Chen sneered. This guy couldn't fly. After 2 consecutive jumps in midair, he was exhausted. Bang! A magic bullet hit Sha Kun instantly. Ninpo. Substitute. However, Sha Kun's combat experience is obviously very rich. He had long known that there was a huge flaw after the air jump. Therefore, after performing the air jump, he directly used the ninja substitute without any hesitation. A stand-in appeared in midair, and Sha Kun's figure appeared in the distance again. The battle between Lin Chen and Sha Kun was because Lin Chen was not prepared to expose too many tricks in public. For a while, there was a stalemate. However, after the two fought for a long time, Sha Kun's physical energy and magic power were greatly depleted. At this time, Lin Chen chuckled and then cast a spell under Sha Kun's dumbfounded eyes. Life Circle. Magic Circle. After Lin Chen cast the spell, 2 magic circles, 1 blue and 1 red, were suspended behind him. After the 2 magic circles were suspended, Sha Kun's face suddenly became extremely ugly. Although he is a dual professional, he does not have the means to restore his physical strength and magic power. How could he not know the huge power brought by this blue and 1 red magic circle? Only his hard work can save everything. If there was any abnormality, I'm afraid he might lose his life. At this time, he can use potions. However, this is a dual field after all. If you use potions in the dual field, you might as well admit defeat. Using potions proves that one's skills are inferior to those of others. However, if he didn't use medicine, he might not be Lin Chen's opponent now. After fighting for a while, Sha Kun's body declined, and the disadvantages of declining magic power began to be revealed. After being knocked away by Lin Chen's knee, he received a solid floating shovel after landing. Then, after taking a hit from the paladin's falling phoenix hammer, Sha Kun spat out a blood arrow in frustration. If he were on the battlefield, he might not be Lin Chen's opponent. When 30% of his physical energy and magic power are consumed, he will take potions to start recovery. But now in the duel arena, if he takes the potion, he will lose directly. I surrender. Although he felt extremely aggrieved, Sha Kun spoke immediately. His physical energy and magic power have been exhausted, and if he continues to fight, he will only bring humiliation to himself. How can you continue to fight under such circumstances? After Sha Kun admitted defeat, many of the instructors watching the battle and many senior officials of the Divine War Department also sighed with emotion. None of them expected that this battle would end like this. If Lin Chen didn't have the last resort to recover, then today's battle would be over. Lin Chen and Sha Kun can only be regarded as equally matched. However, because Lin Chen has a life circle and a magic circle, he can continue to recover. Therefore, he was able to fight longer than Sha Kun. Under such circumstances, Sha Kun naturally gave up. Although, this is not Sha Kun's true strength. But Lin Chen is just a newcomer who has joined the God War Department for about a month. After the news of this battle came out, the entire God War Department was instantly shaken. Everyone couldn't believe that this news was true. No one thought that a freshman could defeat assistant teacher Sha Kun in the balance arena. You know, assistant teacher Sha Kun is a strong man who has been on the Hidden Dragon list 7 times. As more and more news came out, everyone finally confirmed it. All of this is true. Lin Chen really defeated Sha Kun. Although this is incredible, this is the fact. When they learned this news, many elite students in the God War Department were shocked. After the battle between Lin Chen and Sha Kun ended, Lin Chen looked at Elizabeth with great anticipation. However, Elizabeth looked at him with a smile. Seeing Elizabeth's expression, Lin Chen immediately felt that there must be some problem here. However, in his opinion, everything is very normal. Let's go. Without waiting for Lin Chen to think more, Elizabeth took Lin Chen to soak in the energy hot spring. Lin Chen and Elizabeth went together. However, when they arrived at the energy hot spring, Lin Chen was dumbfounded. This place was actually blocked by a magic circle. Each person only has a small square grid. A small grid can accommodate 2 people. But it is obvious that only one person can enter each grid. Oh my god, this is completely different from what I thought. I waited in vain. Seeing this, Lin Chen was speechless. After thinking for a while, Lin Chen could only look at Elizabeth helplessly. Elizabeth was laughing at the side, of course she knew. At first, Lin Chen must have thought it was a couple's bath. But in fact, energy hot springs are like this, with a small grid for each person. When Elizabeth smiled very proudly, Lin Chen shook his head and smiled bitterly. Hee, brother Lin Chen, you are unhappy. Elizabeth deliberately teased Lin Chen, but Lin Chen had no intention of fighting back. However, at this moment, he suddenly thought, if he used the elementalist's teleportation skill, could he teleport to Elizabeth's grid? Anyway, one grid can barely accommodate 2 people. He just paid attention to the instructions on the magic screen next to him. Once the magic circle is closed, the inside and the outside are completely isolated. If you don't practice for 4 hours, you can't come out, in order to ensure everyone's privacy. The magic circle can't be opened from the outside, and you have to wait for 4 hours before it will open automatically. Thinking of this, Lin Chen thought this was very feasible. If Elizabeth gets angry, he can just teleport back. Immediately, Lin Chen was not in a hurry to enter, but waited for Elizabeth to choose first. Then he checked the time and position and entered a magic circle grid next to him first. After entering, he teleported to the grid where Elizabeth entered. It's simply perfect. Elizabeth didn't pay attention to what Lin Chen was thinking. After coming here, she just wanted to relax. She almost died in the 6th room before. It's a rare opportunity to come to the energy hot spring, so she naturally has to relax. Because Lin Chen and Elizabeth both had special approval, they both easily entered the array at the entrance. After entering the array at the entrance, Lin Chen also saw Elizabeth's target. When Elizabeth walked towards a small magic array grid, Lin Chen decisively took the first step and entered another small grid. Then there was a teleportation. At the same time, Elizabeth also put down all her guard and entered a magic grid. After turning on the magic light in the grid, "Ah!" Elizabeth screamed instantly. "What's going on? Lin Chen, you!" Elizabeth looked at Lin Chen, who looked innocent, and wanted to kill him. Now she was only wearing a piece of gauze. Or, the translucent kind. Elizabeth wanted to leave this place instantly, but the magic array was closed. It can't be opened without 4 hours. She is not like Lin Chen, who can use teleportation. "Sister Shui, why are you here? What should we do now?" Lin Chen turned the tables. After all, he was the first to come here. "What should we do? I'll twist your head off." Elizabeth now knows why Lin Chen appeared in this place. Because Lin Chen has the ability to teleport, Lin Chen must have seen that she would enter this magic array. Then he entered other magic arrays in advance, and then teleported directly here. Thinking of this, Elizabeth was helpless. "You teleport back now," Elizabeth said with a serious and cold face. "Okay." Elizabeth didn't expect that after she said this, Lin Chen actually nodded. Seeing Lin Chen's appearance, Elizabeth felt a little guilty for a while. When Lin Chen was asked to complete those tests at the beginning, he misled Lin Chen and made Lin Chen think that there was a mandarin duck bath. But now, the magic array here is obviously completely different from what Lin Chen imagined. "Forget it. I'll talk to you for a while. Then you go back." Elizabeth took out a bath towel and wrapped herself up, then said, "Okay." Lin Chen was immediately happy when he heard this. Just now, he was retreating to advance, and he pushed him into a corner, so he hid directly in the sacred space. In the sacred space, he can see everything in the outside world, but the other party can't see him. Of course, that's a mean act. A real man should. Lin Chen didn't think about it anymore, because he suddenly felt a special wave ripples. It's obvious that Elizabeth is using telepathy to check if he has any dirty thoughts. Lin Chen also switched directly to the skill state of a Qigong master, and the whole person was calm and peaceful. After feeling Lin Chen's current state, Elizabeth was stupid. Did he go too far? Did he scare Lin Chen out of his normal state? Otherwise, a man and a woman alone in such a place, plus Lin Chen this kid. Most of the time, I was thinking about those things in my heart. In this way. Anyway, no matter what, Lin Chen can't be in such a great enlightenment state, right? However, after Elizabeth repeatedly sensed it several times, she found that in Lin Chen's heart, it was really as calm as still water, as peaceful as a deep pool and ancient well. Seeing Lin Chen like this, Elizabeth was really dumbfounded. After thinking for a moment, Elizabeth sneered on her beautiful face. Then she put the bath towel she had just taken out aside, with only a translucent gauze on her body. Hey, woman, Lin Chen sneered in his heart, but his eyes were not idle. Seeing him like this, Elizabeth was really angry and amused. Click, who knew that at this moment, the magic lamp suddenly flashed and went out directly. But Lin Chen didn't do anything bad at this time. After more than 10 breaths, the magic lamp regained its light again. Something happened. After seeing this scene, Elizabeth immediately spoke. Something happened. Lin Chen was stunned, a little confused. The energy vein under the energy hot spring is the main vein of the entire God War Department base. The magic lamp here is fluctuating. It means that the daily function of the energy vein has been consumed by more than 10% in an instant just now. In other words, either the God War Department base was attacked, or other accidents happened. When Elizabeth said this, the God War Department also fell into a brief chaos. Just now, the 3 SSS-level prisoners imprisoned by the God War Department were rescued. In the God War Department, prisoners are generally represented by FTA, S, SS, and SSS. SSS-level prisoners refer to prisoners with a strength rating of IV 90 or above. This type of prisoners have a lot of useful information and resources. They are more valuable alive than being killed directly. However, once such prisoners escape, it is also very troublesome. But humans are at an absolute disadvantage in the God Wars. Even if it is very difficult to obtain intelligence and resources from high-level prisoners. But as long as it can increase the possibility of victory for all mankind, this risk is completely worth taking. In the energy hot spring, Lin Chen listened to Elizabeth. He also roughly understood that some kind of emergency must have occurred. After this emergency, the God War Department used some secret means in an emergency. This secret means can instantly drain more than 10% of the daily energy of the God War Department base. It can be imagined that this trump card of the God War Department is absolutely terrifying. In fact, it is also true. In the space crack where the 3 SS-level prisoners escaped, a bright crystal red laser beam instantly blasted the 2 SSS-level prisoners into slag. Even the last person, although not dead, was seriously injured. At the same time, a sacred red crystal was also broken into powder. Obviously launching the horrific attack just now. It requires the consumption of an extremely rare special item such as the holy red crystal. Lin Chen, who was in the energy hot spring, didn't know. In the space where he signed in, the sacred red crystal placed in the corner of the warehouse turned out to be so useful. Because the sacred red crystal is different from other items, it is just that it is a super high-grade material. As for the purpose of the sacred red crystal, there is no description. And there are very few ultra-high-end materials like this in the world, and they don't even exist in the world. Because obtaining ultra-high-end materials mainly depends on chance. As long as the opportunity comes, everything will be available. Teacher Elizabeth, what should we do now? Lin Chen looked at Elizabeth and asked. It was time for him to go out and see what was going on outside. But there was no way he could take Elizabeth out. You can go out and take a look and see what's going on. You can also stay here. Normally, it's very safe here. Elizabeth doesn't know the situation in the outside world now. In the energy hot spring, the energy field is very strong. Their communicators cannot be used here at all. Okay, then I'll go out and take a look. After Lin Chen finished speaking, he teleported directly out of the magic square. After leaving the energy hot spring, Lin Chen found that the entire God War Department base was in chaos. After quickly putting on his weapons and equipment, Lin Chen immediately asked a running elite of the Divine War Department. Senior, what happened? After Lin Chen asked, the girl he asked was stunned. Such a big thing happened, didn't Lin Chen know? The prison of the Divine War Department was destroyed. 3 SSS-level prisoners escaped, and a large number of prisoners are now scattered throughout the God War Department base. After the senior sister said this, Lin Chen was immediately surprised. Would something like this happen even in the God War base? It seems that this world is indeed unsafe. Now do you know who the prison robber is? Lin Chen asked again, and at the same time he also sent messages to Ling Qingge, Xia Qingwen, senior sister Shen Yu and others. Now that the God War Department is in chaos, he is also a little worried about these friends and teammates. It's not clear yet. I heard that the aura of Tyrannosaurus King Bakar appeared at the scene. After the senior sister finished speaking, she immediately speeded up and rushed to the mission location. Lin Chen also received news from Ling Qingge and others that they were all fine. However, in the God War Department, more than 10 first-year elites were killed. This time Lin Chen was not able to go with Ling Qingge and the others. He quickly received the order from the Divine War Department, which was carried out in squad units. The mission of their 6th team is to capture 3 F-class and 1 E-class prisoners. After receiving the mission, he also went to the mission location. Lin Chen originally thought that he might be the last one to come, because he was at the energy hot spring before, but after Lin Chen came over, only then did he realize that he was actually the first one to come over. Not long after he arrived here, senior sister Shen Yu came over for the second time. Then there are Xuanyuan 11 and Su Yumeng. Isn't Chu Shiren with you? After Lin Chen looked around, he was a little stunned. Because the training camp ended early, under normal circumstances, everyone should act together. No, this guy got a lot of research notes in Mechanical City. I have been studying those notes since I returned to the God War base. I went to the mechanic branch after that and haven't come back yet. Senior sister Shen Yu said briefly. When they were talking about Chu Shiren, a mechanical sound also came from the distance. Then several people saw a combat machine coming from a distance. Fire walker machine. After Lin Chen took a look, he was a little surprised. This thing seems to be a product of the glorious organization. The attributes of this flame walker are clear at a glance. Equipped with a Gatling gun and a focused flamethrower, its firepower is astonishing. Because this thing is equipped with 6 Gatling guns and 2 focused flamethrowers, can provide very powerful fire support, among other things. This bulky machine has thick armor and is capable of running rampant. Hey, look, I successfully restored the manuscript left by the Radiant Organization. Chu Shiren said a little proudly. Good. Lin Chen praised him without hesitation, even though it was only a single vehicle. But this thing greatly improved Chu Shiren's combat effectiveness. Therefore, this vehicle is definitely very good. Can you operate flexibly now? Regulus 11 asked curiously. After all, Chu Shiren had only made this thing not long ago. Generally speaking, this type of vehicle, after it is manufactured, it will take some time before it can be driven well. Of course, no problem. The design concept of this flame walker is to be easy to operate. Chu Shiren said, getting off the walker. Now that everyone is here, let's discuss the team's mission. Our mission this time is to capture 3 F-class prisoners and 1 E-class prisoner. 3 F-class prisoners, we must try to capture them alive. E-class prisoners can be killed directly if they resist violently. Shen Yu looked at the mission requirements and then told several teammates. E-class prisoners have a strength rating of IV-11 to IV-20. Prisoners with this rating can be dealt with by their team. As for F-class prisoners, their strength ratings range from IV-1 to IV-10. Prisoners of this level do not pose a great threat to Lin Chen and others. Therefore, prisoners of this level are required to be captured alive as much as possible. These prisoners have positioning devices on them. The tracking code has been sent to everyone's communicator. After Senior Shen Yu finished speaking, Lin Chen also looked at his communicator. The tracking code had indeed been received on his communicator. Enter the tracking code to see the prisoner's approximate location. Let's act together and kill the E-class prisoner first. Then let's hunt down these 3 F-class prisoners. Lin Chen thought for a moment and then said immediately. That's what I thought too. Senior sister Shen Yu nodded, and then the group went directly to hunt down the E-class prisoner. Why are there still F-class prisoners in the God War Department? When a few people were taking action, Chu Shiren asked a question in confusion. Maybe they are some prisoners who have special secrets or special clues. Senior sister Shen Yu was not sure what was going on. Although they have been in the God War department for some time, they treat these prisoners like the same. Most of the time, there is no contact. When the group of people walked through the God War department, they could also feel the chaos of the God War department. Many elite students are completing their respective tasks. We're getting closer to our goal. After running for a while, Lin Lam said. Lin Chen and his group have now arrived at a training base. These prisoners don't know much about the God War department, and they may see that the terrain here is complicated. Then without any hesitation, he ran directly to this place. As everyone knows, this is a very dangerous training base. The other party is not moving now. Probably hiding somewhere. Now we are less than 200 meters away from him. Senior sister Shen Yu looked at the communicator on her wrist and then said. Let me take a look. Lin Chen nodded, and then directly used Neil to snipe. A scope instantly starts searching for targets in the surrounding area. Found it. After watching for a moment, Lin Chen's eyes suddenly moved. At this time, he had already seen where the target was. He didn't hesitate immediately and shot the opponent directly in the leg. Bang! Ah! After Lin Chen fired, the murderous prisoner also let out a scream. Lin Chen and others rushed forward quickly. After confirming that the other party had no ability to resist, several people worked together to handcuff the prisoner. He doesn't have much energy fluctuations. Su Yumeng used her sensory body to sense it for a while, and then said. The prisoner looked at Lin Chen and the others dumbfounded. Although he killed many people, he only killed ordinary people. The last time he was arrested and brought to the God War Ministry prison, there wasn't such a big battle, right? This time it was so powerful that 5 elites were dispatched to capture him. It was so easy to catch this E-class prisoner, and several people breathed a sigh of relief. High-level prisoners may be very powerful. However, this low-level prisoner is not very scary. After sending this E-class prisoner back to prison, Lin Chen and others continued to work together as a team to catch the remaining prisoners. The remaining prisoners are all F-class prisoners, and they are weaker than the one just now. When they saw Lin Chen and others, an F-class prisoner holding a dagger rushed up and stabbed Chu Xiren's walker machine. In the cockpit, Chu Xiren felt no fluctuation in his heart, and even wanted to laugh a little. Boom, boom. Although this prisoner is not strong, he is obviously a little crazy. The dagger in his hand has been attacking the walker's fuel tank. Apparently, he wanted to destroy the pacer's fuel tanks, causing an explosion. When the prisoner does this, the walker can fly forward directly. Then the prisoner flew out instantly. After landing on the ground, he was naturally thrown to pieces and had stars in his eyes. Xuanyuan 11 stepped forward and handcuffed the prisoner. Immediately, the 6th team also sent this crazy prisoner to the God War Department prison. After they sent this prisoner to the Ministry of God's War prison, the few people acted quickly and went to find the second F-class prisoner. The efficiency of Lin Chen and his team is undoubtedly very high. It didn't take long for them to find the second F-class prisoner. Don't kill me. I surrender. Compared to the madness of the first F-class prisoner, this prisoner is very timid. I don't know why he is so timid, but looking at his small stature, I'm afraid it's because of his lack of ability. After Lin Chen and his party came over, the prisoner surrendered immediately. After checking that there were no weapons on him, Regulus also handcuffed the prisoner. We will send him to the God War Ministry prison, and then we can go find the last prisoner. Senior sister Shen Yu said somewhat relaxedly. She obviously did not expect that this mission would be so simple. Of course, it can also be said that their 6th team is too strong. Because other teams are not so strong. So far, their 6th team has completed the mission the fastest. When they sent the prisoner over, the guards at the Ministry of God's War prison were a little surprised. Is Team 6 so efficient? On average, a prisoner can be captured in about half an hour. You know, some teams, at this time, have not captured a single prisoner. Thinking this way, the person in charge looked more and more surprised. While he was surprised, Shen Yu and Lin Chen's group had already set off again. Their target this time is the last F-class prisoner. This guy is about to run out of the God War Department base and into the surrounding wilderness. Senior Sister Shen Yu glanced at the communicator and then spoke. He cannot be allowed to enter the wilderness. The terrain in the wilderness is more complex than the training base. The training base is still under our control. There seems to be no monitoring equipment from the God War Department in the wilderness. Xuanyuan 11 spoke with some uncertainty. After hearing this, Lin Chen nodded immediately. I'll go after him and have a look. Because the target was only F-class prisoners, Lin Chen did not waste time. Directly using the male magician's windrunner profession. This profession has many physical skills and moves extremely fast. After Lin Chen used the wind technique, everyone saw his figure flashing several times in succession. Immediately, Lin Chen disappeared from their sight. Seeing such a scene, several people looked at each other. Lin Chen has too many skills, right? Chu Shiren smiled bitterly. He doubted whether Lin Chen could master all the skills as his strength increased. Chu Shiren didn't know that Lin Chen had already mastered a large number of skills without the need for his strength to increase. As long as he had enough skill points, he could even master all the skills of the combat and life professions now. After using the skills of the Windwalker to travel for a while, Lin Chen switched to the skills of the Dark Warrior. At this time, he had already seen the F-level prisoner who was desperately escaping in front of him. This prisoner had obtained a weapon from somewhere. When Lin Chen rushed over, he raised his hand and shot. Block. Lin Chen didn't care and used the block directly. Easily blocking the opponent's attack, Lin Chen directly used a 3-stage slash and rushed in front of the prisoner. Then he burst into anger and blasted the prisoner away. When Senior Sister Shen Yu and the others came over, Lin Chen had already resolved the battle. Let's go. Send this guy to the God War Department prison, and our mission will be completed. When Lin Chen caught the prisoner, their team's mission this time could be considered completely completed. Their team was also the fastest team to complete the mission this time. After Lin Chen and his team came again, the guards of the God War Department prison were no longer surprised. Because the efficiency of the team that Lin Chen and his team belonged to was terrifyingly high. After completing the mission, Lin Chen did not go back to continue teasing Elizabeth. Because the magic grid that was supposed to be unable to be opened in less than 4 hours was obviously opened. When they were on a mission before, he received a message from Elizabeth. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.